Hello, and welcome back to the When We Cry Book Club. Oh, sorry, shit. I did it again. Umineko Bookclub podcast. We are starting episode 6.
Oh my god, yeah.
Woo! Confetti, horns,
There ain't no
party
way.
blowers. Me. I am hosting, I guess. I'm Lorenzo. What's up?
Hello, I'm Des.
Kia ora, I'm Host Fry.
I'm Lurf.
Oh, it's me, Mushroom, who doesn't know how time works. I'm so sorry.
We discussed this right before we started.
I suck.
And I'm Pokey.
So, what's everybody's favorite Pornhub math tutorial?
I'm not gonna understand that reference, Lorenzo. We started recording now.
Okay, let's just not talk about it, and then we can move on. Anyway, how's everyone doing?
No one needs to know the context behind that question.
If you're not subscribed to Numberphile, you're missing out.
This episode is only gonna be uploaded to Pornhub, not YouTube.
Oh, that'd be awesome. The Pornhub
That'd be so
episode.
good.
Pornhub collab.
The Pornhub episode. Let's go.
We have to think of at least a good title for our Pornhub episode. It's very important to find a very catchy title.
Man gets staked.
No, it would be something like...
Dommy Mommy walks around a loser file
Yeah.
boy on a leash around Big Mansion right before midnight.
Oh my god.
On the 69th Twilight, gauge the pussy and kill.
I hate that. That's amazing.
Umineko when they
When they... I mean... oh, crazy. God, it's been months. And
Crazy. I was crazy once.
It's only been a month.
They locked me in a room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy.
Crazy? I was crazy
once.
once.
They locked me in a room.
A rubber room with rats.
What?
A closed room with rats.
What?
Rubber with witches. Witches.
It'd be crazy.
Okay.
This is very off to a great start.
I feel very incoherent. I feel like I just woke up, even though I woke up a couple hours ago.
But recording 2 hours late, this to a motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's because Lorenzo overslept and Mushroom doesn't understand how time works.
But,
It's your time zone.
yeah, so listeners, so what happened is that we scheduled this episode on Mushroom's fucking time zone,
Yeah.
and she got here at 1 p.m. being like, so, am I late? Weren't we supposed to record the episode at noon EST? Yeah, Mushroom, so what time is it? Oh, 1 p.m.
It do be like that. You know, sometimes you look at the clock and it says 1 and you're like, is this 12? Oh, sure. There's a 1 in it.
It's half of 12.
Yeah.
What?
Honestly, when I was there on the East Coast, my time was so fucky-wucky. I was up until 4 a.m. all day, every day. I was like, yeah, this is fine. It was awful, but...
I actually have a fun story for the class.
Yes.
And I have a shout out. Both Lorenzo and I this year, once again, we both went to MagFest.
Woo-hoo.
And so we got to touch tips again. I got to see Lorenzo in his human flesh person, which was very exciting.
Yes. Likewise.
Yes, so we will post pictures where we could censor out our fucking faces.
Then what's the point?
But
You're already wearing a mask.
oh, that's true. I am wearing a mask.
You can just pretend. If you censor your face, you can just put a picture of any two people. And be like,
You can have an artist recreation. Actually, let me draw it in paint because...
I'll censor Mushroom's face with Lorenzo's face and Lorenzo's face with Mushroom's face.
Oh,
well, you don't have to if we're putting on Pornhub.
exactly.
What the fuck?
This is gonna be one of those bits that we actually tried to do it, and we're gonna make an account.
Oh my gosh, that'll be the perfect April Fool's episode.
We put it on Pornhub?
Okay. I declare this running gag over.
Okay. No more. If you want more, you're gonna have to visit Pornhub.com. Exclusive content.
Yeah, we got the teaser out.
Yeah. So the fun parts about this was that while we were at MagFest, I was able to meet really great artists, and I was able to meet 3 people who were selling Umineko merch.
Whoa.
And
God damn, that's the whole fandom.
yeah, that was the whole fandom. So shout out to the 10th Twilight, which is a Twitter user who I guess goes by Gray. I'll post a link to their stuff on here. The funny story is that I was trying to buy this Umineko keychain that I saw, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking cute, I'm losing my fucking mind. And then somehow they walked past me while I was talking, and they were like, wait, are you talking about Umineko? And I was like,
Nice.
yeah, I am talking about Umineko. And then okay, so this is their Twitter. Anyway, so you probably have seen this person's Twitter around. Anyway.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Yeah, so we all started talking about Twitter, and we were like, oh my god, we should follow each other. And then we pulled out our phones and realized we were already Twitter mutuals.
Oh my god. That's fucking crazy. It's IRL.
And I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly who you are. I follow your stuff on Twitter. And I was like, this is so fucking funny, and I was like absolutely fucking losing my shit. And yeah, and there was a Umineko poster there which I bought, and the person who sold me, I'm going to post all their informations in the chat
including
in the end,
the credit card one.
Included the credit
The social security number.
yeah, and I'm just gonna dox every single person. But yeah,
Don't forget the 3 numbers on the back.
Yeah, the funny 3 numbers on the back. So while I was there, the people who were selling the Umineko poster was great, and basically the guy was like, oh, you're an Erica fan? Like, oh yeah, tomorrow if you come back in an Erica costume, I'll sell you these posters for half off. So I bought 2
shit,
Umineko
nice.
posters. So yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's go.
Just with the presence of this cosplay, this deal was possible.
Yeah, honestly, incredible. I had a great time. And then I got to see Lorenzo. And
Yes. It was fun.
And the time was ruined.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, kind of. We were trying so hard to find each other, and it was such a
Oh
fucking
my
mess
God.
because there's no signal there, so it's just
There's zero signal. It's really bad because basically there's so many people there. Your phone, half of your text message doesn't get sent half of the time because you just don't get signal everywhere. It's so ridiculous.
yeah. But Mag is fun. If anybody could, I mean, it's a whole fucking journey for pretty much everyone here, but it's worth it. Maybe once.
Maybe next year.
So Lorenzo posted this faint drawing of the depiction of the picture, and it's actually so similar to the actual photo. God damn.
It's basically a 1-to-1 recreation.
It is it's incredible, Lorenzo. Your artistic skills strikes again.
Yeah.
Did you just call me artistic? No kidding.
This you could include this picture as well. This is a picture I saw while I was driving back from MagFest.
We have one of those here too, except one of them it changed into something it was Jesus loves all Christians, and it was so funny because one of the friends I met over at MagFest was complaining about her roommate who's crazy hardcore Christian, and she was yeah, she keeps telling me I know when people are fake Christians, and she just went on this huge rant about just, I don't know, religion. I'm just oh, okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. Can we play this board game now?
Yeah. Sounds like someone who's shackled by Jesus and wants to say.
I'm kidding. The friend was cool. The roommate sounded insane, so I was just oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, on another note, shout out to whoever was at MagFest. So at MagFest, there's these poster boards that you can go and scribble on. Some person showed up at the first day of MagFest on Thursday day, and wrote on every single board across the whole convention center, "Read Umineko" in really large red text.
yes, in red marker.
Again and again. I have only have 3 pictures, but it was on every single board. And I want you to know that people in my life who went to the convention could keep taking pictures of this and then adding me in a Discord and was is this you, Rush? Did you do this? And I was no, I want to know who it is though. And they were how is there more of you in the world? What the fuck do you mean that there's other people who read Umineko? And I was God damn. So that's my fun meeting Umineko fans in the real world. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
certified good time.
I'm also glad that they had all this like merch and stuff and like full ass cosplayers. That was so cool. But yeah, Mac's a good time.
Yeah, come to MagFest if you can get yourself to the Eastern time zone, I guess.
I will try to next year.
Like the Twilight Zone where it's actually 1 when it's 12 and vice versa.
Worst Twilight Zone episode ever.
They really should have done a Twilight Zone episode where it's like the problem is just that the narrator doesn't want to accept that he slept in. So he's like, "You're stepping into a world where the time zones don't make sense."
I mean, if we're being honest, time is kind of a construct. It's like saying, oh, it's 12 o'clock somewhere.
Not
That
here.
was Mushroom.
Yeah.
I did go to see Jimmy Buffett. I heard. Well, he's dead now, but I did.
What do you mean? You went to go see him and...
Like in the afterlife?
Instead, yeah, what the...
No. I just mean like I
Is he
went to
here
the-
now?
Yeah, is he in the room right now? I know. I went to New York City, and I thought it was really funny to go to the Jimmy Buffett restaurant. The food was incredibly mid, which I didn't know why I expected it to be good. It's a novelty restaurant, but I did get to hear Cheeseburger in Paradise and a bunch of Jimmy Buffett songs.
Wait, was the restaurant called the Jimmy Buffet?
No,
You beat me to it.
no, it's called Margaritaville.
We were all thinking it.
The famed Margaritavilles. Those are Jimmy Buffett's.
Dang.
Anyway,
Okay.
sorry. We're going so off topic.
Yeah. I haven't seen or heard from all y'all in such a while, so give us like a 1 minute recap of your life since last we spoke.
The UK has been treating me well. I am surprisingly adapting very well. I expected myself to feel a little bit lonely and shit, but honestly, the people at work have been very welcoming.
Oh, nice.
I love the hospital restaurant. Indian food's amazing. For some reason, they have a lot of Indian food, and it's really fucking good.
Nice.
How's it like hearing British people all the time? Do you believe that they're real yet or not?
I'm really enjoying learning new expressions because they have some funny expressions that I had never heard, and sometimes I feel like I do not know English because I do not understand what they're saying and they do not understand what I'm saying, and we're gonna like take a minute to be like, wait, what the fuck are you saying?
Okay, top British expression, go.
Yeah, top British expression.
Like bloke, like they just call people blokes, and I'm like, what the fuck's a bloke?
That is kind of funny.
Bloke is just like folks.
Or dinlo, like I'd never heard anyone being called a dinlo.
Wait,
what
what?
the fuck is a dinlo?
I think they're fucking with you. That's just some meta shit.
British people continue to not be real.
They're gaslighting you, Des.
Wait, can you spell it out? Because I really don't know what you're saying.
DINLO.
What? Please type it. I don't.
I know that you said a vowel. I just couldn't hear it, so it sounded like you were spelling like Delonor.
Dinlo. Okay, cool. That's kind of like how I just found out that there's a Pokemon named Gorbis. I'm like, okay, fine. It's been around Gorbis. Like
Mr.
Gorbis. All right, Dinlo. Okay.
What does Dinlo
right.
mean? Nobody explained what does that even mean, though?
It's like dingus. It's the same as dingus.
Dingus.
Calling someone a dingus.
That's. So what does Dinlo evolve into? Dinlo evolves into a fucking idiot. All right, cool.
Odin L.
Yeah, they have expressions like if they're like frustrated, they just go, "Are you fibbing?" Like, what the fuck you mean fibbing?
Okay.
You having a laugh?
A laugh.
Yeah,
a
but a
laugh. A laugh. Oh my god, you're gonna get an accent. I love that. That's kind of horrifying. But...
I'd rather watch paint dry.
Next book club we come in and Des is just all British. Like he's saying all the British slang.
Yeah.
He's like, you Dinlo.
Yeah. Des, you can't convince me British people are real, and the more evidence you have brought could only convince me they're
Oh my
less
God.
real by the
They
day.
are not real. They do not use salt in their dishes. It's crazy. Like I tell them, oh, I forgot to put salt in my salad, so it just tasted kind of blank. They were like,
Wait.
you put salt in your salad?
Wait, you put salt in
You
your
put salt in
salad?
your
Wait,
salad?
You put salt in your salad?
Wait, is this a Portuguese thing?
Oh. okay.
Possibly.
That's the Dinlo of salads. What the fuck?
Do you put
Alright.
salt in your meat at least?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, in our meat, but not in our salad, dude. That's like your vegetables.
wouldn't that make your leaves? The leaves would get all crunchy.
No, what the fuck? I'm not what the fuck? I'm not like putting that much salt in it. Just a small little bit to increase the flavor. But this doesn't matter. We're getting way off topic.
How strange.
All right, that's your minute. All right. Unfortunately, it's about being British and salted salad. Okay, next.
All right. I probably won't have much to say because last week we recorded the Higurashi Bookclub, and I told everyone about how I'm reading You and Me and Her, and I think that's not much has changed since that week. I'm still reading it.
Oh wow, you actually were reading it. Oh, that's
Oh,
so
I
funny.
really am reading it. Yeah.
Nice.
It wasn't like
Nice.
a joke, I guess. No, I am reading it.
Cool. Wait, so are you like free? You don't have like work or anything? You're free. It's a rare Sunday recording for you. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, it is Monday here in New Zealand. Monday, I'm just taking annual leave today, but that's because tomorrow.
He took
Nice.
the fucking day off to be on the book club.
That's the truth. No, tomorrow is Waitangi Day, which is New Zealand's version of like I guess Independence Day or like Australia Day or like
Wait, what is it called?
Waitangi Day. So Waitangi was the location of the signing of our founding document, which was the Treaty of Waitangi.
Oh.
So it was basically like there were two versions of it. One was written in Maori, which the Maori chiefs could read, and one was written in English. And of course, the English version had like almost nothing in common with the Maori version, but
Oh my
the
God.
English version was the one that, like, when all the British governors were like, "Okay, cool, they've consented to this whole colonialism thing," so the governor came over and like only read the English version, and like, basically, all of New Zealand's colonial history stems from there. But it was a cool document in that they at least tried. They kind of like learned from. Like, New Zealand was pretty much one of the last places in the world to be, like, subject to European colonialism. So there were, like, actually people who were like, hey, let's try not to, like, just fucking kill everyone and steal all their stuff. They kind of did that anyway, but, like, there were serious efforts made. I know that sounds like nothing, but, and it kind of is. It kind of is, but there
They
was
made
an
an
attempt,
attempt.
and that's kind of, like, nowadays, that's what we try and remember is, like, and try and, like, base our like legal system, because it is still our founding document. We try and base our legal system around the fact that like this is how it was meant to be. All right, like So yeah,
No, it's really cool. I mean, I went to New Zealand once. I have family there too, like
That's
over
crazy.
10 years ago. But like the history lesson I learned there, it was really cool. Like just like going there and going to like all like the all the learning about Maori culture and stuff like that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what? That's so neat and cool and historic. We should all go to New Zealand instead, actually.
I mean,
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Oh, we're not meeting at Rokenjima.
yeah.
I mean, New Zealand is an island,
Yeah.
you know. But we could just all go there.
Or if you came here, like just the city I live in is probably the one place I would skirt around if I was like doing it. There's almost no reason to come to the city I live in, but hey, I'll come meet you at the airport. We had a great time.
Those are kind of like the nicest place to visit, just like get a taste of IRL. I mean, Auckland's cool, but wherever you're really selling your place is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like nothing? Hell yeah.
I mean, I would avoid Auckland as well, but yeah.
That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing. All right. Lurf, I guess, because they're even going down in like list order. Your minute is starting now. Go.
Okay, so unfortunately for me, what I've been doing since we last got together is both returning to school, which is awful, but
Boo.
also I am enjoying myself. But also I have reread the entirety of Homestuck, including the epilogues, and I've
Boo.
started Homestuck 2, and I am in a deep hole. Don't boo me.
I said cheer.
This is my sharing time. And I've discovered that I actually really love Homestuck, and I forgot that I liked it so much, and it's actually kind of good. I mean, it has its flaws, don't get me wrong. It really needed an editor, like, really bad. But I like it. I feel like it's like that one media on par with Umineko, where I just can't shut up about it, because there's just so much to talk about and dig into at, like, literally, like, every little juncture. So I've just been obsessing over that recently.
Having a normal one.
You know what? Yay for that. boo for Homestuck, but yay for your happiness. So, yippee!
Thank you.
All right, can we get a yippee? Yippee!
Yippee! Hip hip hooray!
Hip, hip, hooray. I wonder if there was like Homestuck stuff at Mag. Do you recall, Mushroom?
Yes, there was actually
Yeah.
a whole Homestuck booth at Mag, which
Yeah.
I walked to my friend and I was like, "Hey, do you know there's a Homestuck booth right now, like in that corner?" And my friend was like, "In our Lord 2024 a Homestuck booth, honestly, respect." And then we both walked away. It was a pretty impressive Homestuck booth.
That's what everyone keeps saying to me when I bring up Homestuck.
I thought you were gonna say that they started barreling toward
They
the.
walk away. That's perfect. I'm sorry, but yeah. Homestuck. Ugh.
Who hurt you, Lorenzo? Was it Homestuck?
Could you point on this doll to tell me where Homestuck hurts you?
I mean, I guess I don't have anything against Homestuck, but there is one weirdo that I met online. I mean, like, I'm grateful I met him, but I think he's a pedophile, so I'm like, Homestuck? It's so weird. I mean, like, I've never heard from this guy, like, ever since, but I remember he was really into Homestuck, and my first experience on Discord was, like, a server. This was, when Discord first came out. It was, like, a server with, like, me and him and, like, somebody else who sounded like a kid.
Oh my
And then he was asking me all these, like, weird questions, and I'm like, okay, cool, I don't need to talk to you anymore, but, thanks, bye.
damn.
Weird internet experiences.
It was, but that's the reason why I'm probably here, because I'm like, that's just the internet, you know?
That is
I'm
true.
sure Homestuck is cool. I'll get into it. I have a lot of really good friends who are raving about it all the time, too, so I'm joking. Homestuck is
Homestuck's
cool.
very good.
Yes.
We don't accept the man who is probably a pedophile
Yeah.
in the Homestuck community. I speak for the entire community.
He may like Homestuck. Homestuck does not
Yes.
like him.
It's true.
Boo, pedophilia.
What a hot take.
What a thing.
Actually, yeah.
I've never heard someone say so controversial, yet so true.
I mean, you would be surprised. We're in the VN community. You know, there's a lot of pedophiles.
Like George Yushiromiya.
Okay, this Pokey, do you have anything?
Now, Pokey's Minute. Go.
Okay, what's happened to me? In December 1st, I submitted that essay about Higurashi, but it looks like I didn't win. So that's
Dang.
unfortunate.
Uncultured everybody.
Should have been about Umineko.
Yep, I'm definitely going to try again this year and start writing like nowish. So I've got to decide what I'm talking about. It might be Umineko. I might try again with When They Cry. Or I might go for something like Master Detective Archive's Raincoat or...
Oh, how'd you like that? I mean, you have the Halara PFP, as everybody
yeah.
cannot see. How was it for you?
It's amazing.
Okay.
I loved it.
Awesome.
I am a little bit hurt that 2 times, and it's both unvoiced dialogue, I think, they used they them pronouns with Halara.
Yeah, what
Even
about
though explicitly their gender is meant to be ambiguous. They're always like, that person.
them? Oh, yeah.
You know, when people don't think that singular they exist.
Yeah, it was really weird, because, like, they very, I don't know, the localization is very, I don't know, intentional about that. It was kind of strange, but I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, there's actually another Spike. Well, this was 2Kyo Games, the new studio by Kadaka, Nuji Koshi, and the gang from Zero Escape and Danganronpa, but it was also in collaboration with Spike Chunsoft, who originally published each of their projects. So Spike Chunsoft has another series called AI The Somnium Files that I have not played for myself, but
You have
I've
to.
watched Let's Plays
You
of.
have to.
I've watched Let's Plays of, so I don't know the whole story.
okay, cool.
Shrimp life.
There actually is a non-binary AI The Somnium Files character. They don't even have a line of dialogue, but they're there in the second game. They're a person that exists. And for some reason, even though the creator explicitly says they're non-binary, for the translation they decided to go with he, him pronouns, just to make it more clear.
That's crazy.
He, they, king does not actually appear. We don't know what they look like.
But everybody has tons of fan art about him.
Yes, I was so excited for the non-binary representation. And honestly, I think even though singular they could use a bit more representation, since it's used all the time. Literally, like, in these games, they use it to describe characters they don't know the gender of yet. So they can do it, and I think it's a step forward. Anyways, I love Master Detective Archive's Raincoat. It's a really good game. Not flawless by any means, but it's definitely following in the footsteps of Danganronpa, and yet a unique IP. Anyway, a game like that I might want to write about.
I mean, yay for that. I do appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I'm sorry. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just silently gripping my seat. I have words about Raincode, but hey, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, you didn't like it? I would love to talk with you about it. I'm so into discussions about this.
It will be a whole thing, but it's yeah. No, I loved it, and I really liked the. I mean, did I love it? I like the Danganronpa implications that they mention at the end of the game, but that's woo, and that's everyone's life so far in a minute. Nice.
Catching up roundup.
Catching up Ronpa. Yeah, love that.
No, I said roundup, not
Oh,
romp.
okay. Well, sorry, I was thinking about Danganronpa.
That's the brain rot.
But yeah,
I love Danganronpa.
I love when we talk about our lives that happened in the last minute, and then one of us kills each other.
What?
You know? No, sorry. I'm being crazy right now.
Crazy?
I just woke up.
Oh, and we cried Danganronpa.
Yes, and then I want somebody to like deck their house with like images of us and like have giant cardboard cutouts of
I
us.
want you to know when you said images of us, I thought you said deck the house in jizz of us, and I was like, what the
Okay,
fuck are you saying?
alright, well.
I thought
talking
we were
about the-
done with the Pornhub show.
No, what's wrong
Oh,
with
I
your
forgot
ears?
to.
Yeah?
I forgot to mention I'm back in school. That's pretty big.
Nice.
Another
and
one.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
Yay school, I mean boo school, but yay.
I'm taking pre-calculus.
Oh no, boo,
Oh,
calculus.
Fuck maths, yo.
No, not
Ooh.
calculus. Pre-calculus.
Pre-calculus, got
Wait,
you.
are
Alright.
you also taking lessons on Pornhub for that?
I will
Yeah.
neither confirm nor deny. Wait, I thought this running gag was over.
Nope,
It's not.
No,
it's still running.
it's just gonna come up like an hour into this.
I don't want to be one of those people to be like, here's a link of the calculus tutorial on Pornhub. But I feel like at a certain point, if viewers, if at home, if you are curious, you at your own discretion. But
Maybe it'll be on the description.
Please don't put a porn link in the description.
anyway, we should really start Umineko at this point.
Yes, let's start Umineko.
Well,
so,
thankfully, it's like not that big of a chunk of stuff, but we are.
no,
finally...
there's a lot to discuss for it, so you
Yes.
have
Oh
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah. Well, I mean, we'll do like the quick and dirty, and then we'll go over what implications there are. But let's do it. Let's check out the map. All right. Well, we are at the beginning of episode 6.
Indeed.
Wow, we've come a long way.
We're finally here.
Yeah. Well, Battler gets kind of, forced married. That's cool and cute. And I think this is the first time we ever see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot their names.
Is that Power and Fufu?
Oh, the demons.
yes.
I don't think the chat knows their names yet.
Oh, okay. That's
I say chat.
yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure of this because I remember when I played this episode 6 for the first time, and I forgot to double check this, but I opened up my tips menu when they appeared on screen, and there actually was a profile with their name and date about them, but then it vanishes after the scene is over.
Oh, that's cool. That's funny and cute.
Oh, fascinating.
They are cool. I kind of like them as a character because, well, we'll get into it later. But yeah, they're cool.
Is that Power and Fufu?
So yeah, in the metaverse, he's being like, forced married, and then he wakes up in a closet. He's cucked. He's a cuck in the closet. He's like locked inside this room with like a chain lock in the Urshirimiya manor, and there's no way for him to like get out and get himself out of this weird sticky situation. And then it does one of the classic jump cuts to IRL with Angie and Amakusa. They're at this weird place and they meet this weird lady, and they're like, I am Hachicho Toya. And she's like, how'd you find me? And Angie's like, well, and then does this whole like explanation about how she did some ARG and like tracked her down. But it turns out that this Toya person is not who they seem, because they inexplicably like enter the metaverse, and she's got like this metaverse counterpart with huge ass horns. It's actually a really cool design. Like, I like the,
You like it? I actually don't.
okay, well, it is kind of stupid. But, the whole so is the whole story.
Lorenzo, you don't have to bend to Des's will.
Just 180 on this opinion.
I love it. Oh wait, Des hates it? No, it's kind of stupid.
Is this what it meant to be an influencer?
Yeah, I remember when Des and I used to talk about Featherine's design, and like it's the design where you see her full body shot, and you're just like, this bitch put her cane on her dress, she's gonna trip and fall.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up. She's
Wait,
so
really?
stupid.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Featherine's the name of this counterpart, by the way, in the metaverse.
I wish her sash wasn't like green. It like clashes with the purple and the pink and the red. Can it just be like? What if it was like purple instead? It would look fine.
Exactly, yeah. Like,
The whole color
Damn.
scheme is kind of fucking whack.
That's so funny. It's like straight. It's so intentional. It's like on her dress.
Yeah,
But also the manga gamer likes. Okay. Oh my god. The manga gamer sprite is just so vile. It looks like there's Pornhub of her online. I will say I'm such a sheep. Like, if you tell me something, I'll do it. Because there was one time, my coworkers, they were like talking about like this Oreo like milkshake boba drink that one of the stores around here sell, and I'm like, that was like the worst shit in the world. And then like the next day I order it because I was like just thinking about it, and it was still bad. So yeah.
Lorenzo, you're like the target of like audience of like all those like weird ads at like 2:00 in the morning and be like, who the fuck would buy this? And Lorenzo just slowly reaches his hand over to the phone so you can call the number.
Right, I secretly have like all those weird like as seen on TV shit. Or what else? I have like all those games installed on my phone where like it's somebody walking in high heels on like a tightrope, and then like people getting like shit on.
You have all of those funny ringtones that they advertise.
I'm dying.
And also there's weird like I don't know if you guys seen it. Like there's like this one where it's like a pregnant dragon that gets like killed, and then like I forgot what it was. It was really weird and suggestive, but
What are you talking about?
you don't see these.
I haven't seen that
The
one.
Lorenzo experience.
Okay. There's like also tons of like ads where people get like farted on and shitted on and like pissed on. I don't know. It's so weird.
Lorenzo.
But anyways, I'll do anything you
I've
tell me
never
to.
seen these ads.
Lorenzo.
Okay.
So, what does it say about you, Lorenzo, that you're getting these
I
ads?
think the algorithms figured Lorenzo out.
All right. Well, well, my life in a minute passed, so I can't fill you guys in and much more. But
Shit.
let me see. Where were we even? Like,
A feather in
So we
scope.
met
Feathery
Feathering.
just appeared.
yes, Feathering did appear, and we're like, who the hell is this? That's crazy. And we jump cut to another place in the metaverse, and Burn and Lambda and Lano are talking about the beginning of the new game. And then we have Battler in his I figured it out mode coming in, and he's like, I'm gonna beat this chessboard this time.
He also has new drip. He has like a whole cake now.
Yeah, it looks sort of like Kenzo's actually, but
Oh, we'll get into that. Oh my god, that's a whole kind of worms.
I am so
Yes.
excited.
so it's weird because at the same time, Feathering, this weird fanfic author metaverse counterpart that Angie's interacting with, is talking about how she's spinning all these new chessboards to tell the story of what happened on Rokenjima, and they're about to start a new game to it, like explain what's going on. And so is Battler at the same time. Long story short, that's basically what happens in this chunk of the story that we're about to discuss. But does anybody have any thoughts, feelings?
So my opinion on Featherin completely changed on this reread, because I used to think she was just annoying, and I don't know, like just the way she just talks. I just didn't really.
I mean,
like
she
her.
was really condescending. Like
Yeah.
the whole like one of the things that I really like about the first time you meet Toya, and you also meet Feathering. Feathering's like, oh, like I'm an author. Like people read books, but what do they actually read? Like they're just
They don't
fucking
read.
stupid.
Yeah, wait, I
Yeah,
think I have that paragraph somewhere. And but then on this reread, I'm just reading this, and she's so funny. She's just so not fit for human consumption.
Not safe to eat.
She just doesn't fundamentally. She just does not understand how human interaction works, I guess.
She's
Yeah.
above human interaction.
Sew up her own shit.
I think that's what's really funny about her introduction is that we're introduced to the idea that like Toya says that she's a forger and she has nothing to do with Spike's family, and she's also just like here and writing all these like stories about she's a true crime fanfic writer. Just it's like people who like write like I don't know. Not that I know people actually who write John Bonazi. I guess she's a child who's a more suitable person to write fanfics of the Green Ridge Killer. Like I don't know.
What is this take? I do not understand your point.
No, but what I'm saying is that like she's writing about a bunch of dead people and she's just kind of blasé about it, and she meets like Angie, and Angie's like, "Why are you doing all of this?" And she's like, it's fiction, man. Like, what do you want from me?" So for all the other sections before, do we want to talk about the wedding scene? So what's people's thoughts about the wedding scene when they first read it?
I don't fucking remember.
When I first read the wedding scene, honestly, it was really creepy. It still is. Like, honestly, the Erica self-proclaimed intellectual rapist. The rapist analogy just keeps growing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I remember being very confused. I was like, what? Why is Erica getting married? What the is that Battler? Who are these people? I was very much like, Umineko, you can't keep doing this to me. You can't keep just showing me new people and new scenarios and then cutting away and then never explaining any of it until like 20 more hours in.
This is the worst shit.
I was sick of it.
The way it is intercut with the closed room scenes, is really good for establishing the tone. I think, like, you've got like this kind of like saccharine like wedding ceremony, and then you like cut to like opening a door and like screaming at the top of his lungs, and no sound comes out, which is like I have personal experience with this, and those dreams that you get where you like something's coming and you're trying to scream, but your like actual body is in like sleep paralysis.
That whole thing was so cool.
Very cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like me when I had to go to the bathroom really bad during a funeral service we had to go to for work. I was like, I'm going to piss my pants 3 times during this service, but I can't say anything because it's a funeral. But
What?
You can't go to the toilet during funerals?
well, I mean, there are people like talking and shit, and I was in the middle. It was in an auditorium, and I was like in the middle of the row, so I couldn't like just get up and be like, sorry guys, I got to piss. But it was fine. There was a Battler stuck in the closet moment right there, so I can relate. Text to world.
At least Battler has a bathroom.
Lorenzo, in your summary, you didn't mention Chick Beato, did you?
No.
I didn't, but they do bring that out. We're talking
They
about.
do bring that out. It's a big plot point, and you don't even include it in. Oh yeah, they do bring it up, I guess.
Yeah, they summon Chick Beato.
Well, they don't summon her. She shows up on her own, which is even scarier.
Yeah, she just comes in.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
She's an embodiment of the rules, so she comes back eventually. But then she's not the way that Battler wants her to be.
Yeah, she always comes back.
Yeah, and it's really funny that the only thing to face these cruel witches that have seen, horrors beyond human comprehension, the only thing that actually faces them, it's Beato acting sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
Dolinor is the most telling reaction, because immediately when this Beatrice appears, and they're all like, "Oh, the player Beatrice died," and I can never decide in the middle of an episode whether to say Beatrice or Beatrice. Beatrice, Dolinor says, "Okay, even though there's a piece Beatrice and the player Beatrice died, there's still Beatrice all the same." And then Beatrice speaks and does not talk like Beato that we know. And Dolinor, too, is the first one to be like, "Who are you? You're not Beatrice," even though she was just saying that they're the same person because they're a piece and a player. And because of the interaction in episode 5, where Dolinor was saying that her battle against Battler's piece was the piece was only capable of things that Battler is capable of, So she has like a history with this opinion and observation of how pieces work. And even she's like, "You're not Beato? What are you talking about?" in her own way.
Yeah, everyone's so confused.
Just like, who the fuck
Yeah.
are you?
And I really like that scene when Butler goes up to meet Beato for the first time. And like he just wants to apologize and thank her and tell her all these things, and then he just can't because he's just a different person. Then he just breaks down completely. It's a really nice
We didn't
scene.
get to that scene yet.
No,
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
it's a
What?
note in this.
Battler breaks down a lot. I don't think that's a spoiler.
No, but like
Yeah.
it's within the 4 chapters that we're covering this time.
Yeah, he breaks down at
Oh, he
Oh, damn.
does, because he's just a soft, wet
You're right.
boy. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's crazy because he puts on a cape and you're like, wow, he's a man now. And he's like, no, I'm just so emotional. Like,
Really, the cape is what makes you think he's a man?
the difference between a boy and a man is that the man puts on the cape.
Yeah.
A true sign of maturity.
I mean, given the Kenzo comparisons for the cape, like I wouldn't exactly call that, a sign of maturity. But
It's
that's
badass.
What do you mean? Have you seen Kenzo?
yeah,
yeah, that's
He's so mature.
that's a peak of maturity.
He's as mature as it gets.
I wouldn't call him the pinnacle of maturity either.
The cape of toxic masculinity.
Oh my god, we need to stop this right now. I will not take this against my boy Butler. This is just misinformation.
Yeah.
He's going through it. He's okay.
Yeah, it is really like off-putting for him, and like Genji and like Kumasawa don't do him any favors by just like kind of pretending like Beato's back and it's like it's all fine, and then like he gets there and he's got this whole thing like, oh, I'm gonna tell her about how I solved her game, and I'm gonna apologize for my sin of all those years ago, and like I've got all the stuff I need to do with Beato, and then like he gets there and like he can't do any of that shit. Like it's just she's just like, oh father, like congratulations on completing your game. I made all this food and I brought you this champagne, and it's like that was like, well, this isn't what I wanted at all.
But I was like, you just call me daddy?
But like not in a sexy kind of way. Like
No.
Not at all.
Not in the sexy way. Like the way you don't want your partner to call you daddy.
The old Beato called me daddy.
Yeah, it's the proverbial father that's the scariness of it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, Kumasawa and Genji do not prep Battler at
Yeah.
all for this interaction.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. They just kind of throw him in the deep end. I was actually going to say, I have a lot of opinions about if I actually like the beginning showing up church scene. I'm not a huge
Same.
fan of it. I can talk about it in the more spoiler section, but what I do actually like is, despite the fact that I don't love the church scene, for the implication it comes later, I love how EP6 starts with like 4 incredibly weirdly disjointed scenes that also threads like with each other. Like the first scene, the church scene, like church wedding, super weird. Second scene, some person trapped in a closet. That scene ends. And then it's like modern day 1998 Angie meets with strange woman, and strange woman forces her to read her fanfic. And then
And Angie does not remember getting there at all.
yeah, like Angie has no idea why she's here, and she doesn't even quite understand who this woman is exactly after this woman like introduced herself to her. And then this woman is like, oh, also like this is my OC in the metaverse. And then it suddenly changes again, and then you get to be like, oh yeah, we're in our new game board. Balor's the game master, he's gonna write stories. Also check Beatrice. Like that's so odd. Like that's the craziest. Like to me, like this is the tightest Ryukishi wrote.
That is
Like,
true.
Like EP6 is really tight. If this is like EP4 or EP3 Ryukishi, like he could spend like another fucking 3 hours on each of these.
Oh
scenes
my
if he
god,
really
yes. You know that scene with Chick Beato would drag.
Yeah.
You forgot to mention, Mush. It goes. Oh my fucking god! It goes. Meeting with Toya. Sorry. Whoever edits this, you're gonna have to like put a lot of nipa in there because saying something I shouldn't say. It goes meeting with Toya to meeting with Featherine, back to meeting with Toya again, which like is just more like wild, rapid changes in scene. It's starting to like thread 2 narratives in there, which is like one of them where like the witch Featherine is like kind of creating this like not creating, she's reading through Angie this meta narrative, and then the other one where like the author Hachijo Toya wrote this book that she wants Angie to read that is unpublished. It's kind of like, and I think the way it like flicks back and forth is kind of trying to get you to like think about both these narratives at once. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah, and like I think it works very well. I think episode 6 is one of those ones that you appreciate more, like, in hindsight, like, rereading it than you do on a first read.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but, like, because, like, I remember, like, going through episode 6 and I was like, what the fuck is going on? But that's, like, the Umineko experience. But, like, looking back on Umineko, I can definitely say that episode 6 is my favorite. I mean, like, I have mixed feelings about, like, seeing the wedding in general. Like, I feel like the flash forward really worked in episode 5 where we like see Erica. We're like, what do you mean, like, you know who the culprit is and all that stuff. But here I feel like the impact would have been a little more impactful if we didn't see this until later, or at least didn't know it was Battler until later.
Yeah, that's what I totally agree as well. I think it works very fine in EP5, but EP6 is the type of thing where I feel like I guess this dwells into spoiler territory. Is there any more thoughts that people want to say about these scenes in particular that's not in spoilers? Or
I have a very small thought.
Okay.
So you know how in real life Theodorin, Sprite, she just does that stupid hand gesture. This one.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like that in all her sprites. That's apparently one of the gestures that God is many times depicted with in Christian art. She's so up her ass that she's posing like God.
Of course she is.
Is that like the one with like God touching, like he's got his finger out? And...
No, that's just his finger out. Yes. No, this is 2 fingers and the thumb. It means like it. I tried to understand what it meant. I think when he's depicted like that, it's because he's giving a blessing.
Oh, I know. Is this like the like you often see like Jesus? He's got like one hand up, like stop, and then the other hand is like that gesture.
I guess I don't know. I'm not into the fandom of Christianity.
You're not shackled by Jesus.
Yes.
we have to put that image up now.
Yes, I am not shackled by Jesus. I am freed by lust. I guess would be the inverse of the post of the thing.
As far as other non-spoilery things, I do want to talk a bit more about it in the spoiler section, but it's worth mentioning. On my first viewing, I really appreciated that instead of Ronobe and Virgilia, it's Genji and Kumasawa who are helping Battler, because they're the same 2 people. We know this by now, but the Battler prefers having them in this form. Literally, they're the same people. I think you could argue they have the same personalities, they just hide it.
Like, this is what he finds more comfortable, like, dealing with. Like, he's more comfortable. And it's like, the interesting thing about the what we think of as the answer arcs, but I guess they're just called the
Shatter
the Shatter arc, the Chiyu arcs, is that, like, Yukishi is now, like, you know, he has showed us, like, you know, all of the mysteries, and he's pulling the wool, like off now, like, in the fact that it's so much more uncomfortably real when it's not the you know, the fictional version of these, like, witchy characters of Virgilia and Ronobe. It's like, oh, it's just Goda. Like, it's not Goda. But Goda's not here. Why am I saying Goda? My brain.
Goda, the one person not there.
Goda, the one person not there.
I think that's because, like, Goda's... I mean, it's not very relevant, but Goda's not there because he only just met Battler. They, unlike Genji and Kumasawa, who worked there ever since before Battler was born. So he knows them at least a little bit.
Yeah.
There's many reasons why Goda isn't there, but we can talk about it here.
Yeah.
Spoilers, he's the culprit.
Magical Goda chef, of course, he just poisoned everyone. Give everyone salmonella.
The implications of saying Goda isn't there, but we better talk about it in the spoiler section is, like, so funny to me.
That is so.
That's really funny to talk about.
Yes, it's God in that room.
Yeah.
God is one in that room. God is the one getting married to Erika too.
Goda with the frying pan in the kitchen.
It's honestly, I truly doubt there's anybody who actually listens to our podcast who hasn't read Umineko. But the fact that we
No, what if
implicated.
they're a weirdo freak watching us on Pornhub, you know? Like, you never know.
What if they're waiting for us to upload our book clubs to continue reading Umineko? Have you thought about
What
that?
if they listen to our podcast to prepare themselves to read Umineko?
Damn, well, if you're listening,
Yeah, that's.
If they're waiting for us to upload before continuing reading, then they must be really pacing themselves with Ciconia. I don't think they've felt the loss of phase 2 at all.
Stop!
For real?
Speaking of a loss of phase 2, like, Louis Kishi, where is Silent Hill F or whatever the fuck that is? I'm not even. I don't even know if I should ever wait for like, a Ciconia at this point. I don't believe in love.
I think didn't Rikishi say that was like on permanent hiatus? He would be more likely to start working on the next one they cry, and she.
Yes.
I hate him.
He did.
Yeah.
Sort of. I think that's one interpretation of what he said. He said other when they cried projects, which could mean anything, like a spin-off or just a short story.
Not EP11, EP10, I mean.
He's literally evil. This man is literally evil. Why would he do this? I read Ciconia and it was so fucking good. And it makes me want to bash my head against a wall because man's just out here with, like, you know, withholding valuable resource. Like,
Why are you suppressing Ciconia from the public?
I just don't understand. Anyway, sorry. This is
Speaking of Ryukishi being evil, did we want to talk about Hachijo Toya as a Ryukishi stand-in?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
true.
actually a great way to talk about this. So, the thing I was always very interested about thinking about Yukishi as a stand-in for any characters in Umineko. So, like, I feel like if you're reading, like, question marks, you would be like, oh, Beatrice is kind of like an author stand-in. And I was like, that's really funny
True.
because you haven't met the other author stand-in. Hachijo Toya, which is 100 times a woman worse of a person. Like, it's very funny because, like, it's very satirical the way how, like, Anja perceives, like, Toya. Like, Anja doesn't see her incredibly positively at all. Like, she's like, oh, like, you know, this is a weird woman who keeps writing stories under, like, you know, fake names, and then, you know, she just, like, writes whatever the fuck she wants.
Acts all high and mighty about it.
Yeah, super high and mighty about it. And, like, this is the line they describe Hachijo Toya. They say, her manner of speaking is extremely condescending. Perhaps it was because of her elegant manner. It doesn't feel that, like, irritating, but she has, like, the majestic grandeur about her style of speech. Like, she just talks super weird. She's like, oh, you know, like, I've been, you know, writing all these, like, fanfics about your dead family. And she was like, well, you know, like, it's fun. Like, I'm having a lot of fun writing them. and the word that, like, it's consistently used across, like, the whole way of, like, describing Toya is, like, condescension. Like, she's just incredibly condescending. And she, like, sees her readers as dumb sheep who just wanted to, like, pose with her book to look smart and cool. And that, like, books are wasted on people. Like, Louis Kishi, of course, from his evil ways, we know that he, like, you know, actually likes his readers. But also, he doesn't like them that much at times. Shout out to...
Looks at Erica.
yes, you know, he did write Erica, that's true. He did write Erica, and he wrote the goats to make fun of
Yep.
readers. But... truly speaking, one of my favorite Nuikishi lines is still, you're a weird incel who would never touch grass before if you don't understand Umineko. Like, well, he was arguing with people on, like,
I
Japanese,
know what you're
like 4chan, basically. And I was like,
That happened?
No,
Oh
no.
my
He
god.
said that?
yeah, basically.
Oh wait, are you talking about the final battle?
Yeah, you're paraphrasing, right? You're paraphrasing.
Like the final stand?
I know what you're referring to. Yeah.
Yes, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, so this is from a Dui Kishi interview, actually, where
So
we
is it
all
an interview or 4chan? Those completely recontextualize everything.
No, but, like, basically, so in the interview, so you know how Dui Kishi likes to lie and, you know, be an asshole and his,
Oishi L5, yes, I do remember.
in his,
Oishi Natural L5.
in his interview. So basically, he talked about like how like a lot of Japanese fans didn't really like and how that, and he basically called like everybody who didn't understand Umineko is basically a sad sop who like needs to go out in the world and touch grass and doesn't understand love, and it's kind of an which is kind of actually I'll find the exact interview he says it, but like it's kind of like shocking that that's what his opinion. Well, it's also because had more backlash in Japan. I mean, I heard like I think like I talked about this with other people who were more into the fandom 10 years ago and read I scrolled through some 4chan threads to read about people's opinions about Umineko for fun.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like the Ikuko and Ryukishi connection kind of reminds me of like JoJo Part 4, where you got like Rohan, and then like I know Araki has said like he regrets, well, not that he regrets, but he kind of hates that like people started to think that he might be actually like Rohan in real life, because he's actually like a really like sweet, nice person, but he like he made this very intimidating like person. Yeah, like I feel like Ryukishi, he's got something similar, and also like the dialogue in here, it's not like there's no counterpoints to what like Featherin's like speech about how like readers suck and they can't do basic reading comprehension. Like it's not like a Tojiro rant, whatever. It's not. Is that spoilers as well?
The way you had to stop to think about if Ciconia was a spoiler for Umineko or something like the existence of.
Sorry, but I also just like I just love the Tojiro rant because I know exactly which rant it is, and I still get stonewalked by that rant every time I get to read it. I'm like,
yeah.
I have a lot of opinion about Ciconia, but one of my Ciconia opinions is just like, this reads like the longest subtweet of all time. Like, she's like scrolling on Twitter, and it's just like, none of these people understand politics. Watch me write politics. It just writes the most unhinged fucking piece of work, which is just Ciconia. He's a coward. He doesn't write more of this because he's a coward.
It's kind of ironic that Featherin, who is so socially unadjusted, is the one calling people out for not, I guess, understanding the deeper truth of fiction.
What I was trying to say is, it isn't unanswered in the text. Like, Angie is there, and she's like, don't underestimate your readers. They're actually, like, kind of smart. So, you know. Like, I guess there's, like, a counterpoint there. It also reminds me of, like, the Stargate SG-1, when they had their 200th episode. They did, like, there was a whole thing where, like, the Stargate team gets called in as consultants for, like, a fake movie that's kind of based on their, like, in-universe real accomplishments. Because, like, the Stargate program is, like, confidential and stuff. And like, the guy there is, like, this like, stock Hollywood writer who's all like, oh, we need lots of explosions so that we can like put them in the trailer, and like people don't care about like real plot, they just care about how many explosions there are and stuff. And like there's like this one bit at the end where like one of the characters is like, don't underestimate your readers or your watchers, I suppose, that like they're generally like sensitive, intelligent people who respond positively to quality entertainment. So it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, I think that there is an element of self-insert to Toya. Toya Hachijo's pen name is, there are two versions. Itoi Kukuro 0576.
Oh, it's a Ikuko. Oh fuck! Is it the Degunamu or something like?
Here, I'll just post. This is straight out of the wiki. I'll just post it so I don't have to post two different things. And then I opened Visual Studio Code instead of Discord. There's two different translations of the last name. That second one has a 0 in it, like Ryukishi 07. And then the first one kind of sounds like the last name sounds like Rena's dead name.
No, but Rei means 0 in Japanese, doesn't it? So it's the same thing.
Yeah. So that's what took me out. Is like, there, even like the fact that the name is a word puzzle of Japanese and numbers is a reference to Ryukishi. But I think that ultimately Featherin and Hachijo is kind of a parody of himself, where he's writing himself as like this grand author who looks down on people. when actually he's just having fun writing a story. It's almost like this is how he thinks that people perceive him, like not in a self-indulgent way, in a self-degrading way. That's not the way to put it.
No, I can see that.
In a humble way.
Featherin is so unhinged in her takes that I just feel like this is kind of like Ryukishi's unfiltered thoughts. I can imagine him being like, oh damn, I hate these people who don't think more deeply about my works. But then he would never go out and say that. I guess he if he's going out to talk about it, he would kind of like filter his thoughts a little and be like, oh, I guess some people don't find my works interesting enough to put more thought into it or something. Like he wouldn't be as unhinged as Featherin.
Like a person is not their thoughts, their culmination of their thoughts, their actions, their words, and just because you think something doesn't make it you. So I can imagine Ryukishi thinking things like this, but that doesn't make him this person.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he's like, what if I wrote a character that was just all of these thoughts?
Yeah. Honestly, pretty valid thoughts. Just weird to say them out loud.
Yeah.
But also it's very funny that Toya does call like everybody child of man.
Oh my god.
It's just like you have to think that is the funniest way to like address people. It's just like, yes, welcome to my mansion, child of man. This is like before she goes into like Featherin mode. Like you're just like you just meet this like mystical like author woman, and she's just like addressing you like she's some kind of deity. It's like really funny.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I've always taken the way Dahachi Toya here is written as parody due to that extreme. Like Rikishi's like writing like a parody of like how he thinks people see his author persona, which I think is funny. I'm just like, oh, child of man, I am the god of this universe. I decide what these characters go through, and you will read my story and then tell me your thoughts on it to entertain me.
That's like that 5 or 6 stores video where that lady's like, I am the queen of the ocean. The water is warm and the ocean surrounds me. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting from like how she should be like presenting herself.
It is very funny.
That's exactly the vibe.
There's also a bit where like Battler's like, man, writing these stories is real hard. And I was just reading them. I thought it was super easy and that I could do a better job. But now it's like, and then like Genji's all like, no, it's actually very difficult, and it just feels very like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's actually really funny because now I think about it, it's easy to basically focus and say like, oh, like is Toya like a author stand-in? Like, you know, like Battler is also writing a story like simultaneously in the story where he talks about how difficult it is to like write. And one of my favorite things in that conversation about like writing stories is really difficult, and like they even say like, oh, like, you know, like Beatrice once almost write herself in a corner too. I think about that because I'm like, is Ryukishi trying to hint about the fact that he is too stupid and he accidentally wrote 2 doors for the boiler room, or is he too stupid and didn't remember? I want you to know that and this is actually a real thing that happened to me like a few days ago. I was in the 80% relatable server, and people were just talking about Higurashi. And then while they were talking about Higurashi, they were like, and then like the 2 boiler door. And then I was like, how dare you say my trigger word, a 2 boiler door? like every night I go to sleep and I stare at the ceiling thinking, wow, I'm going to wrap my arms around Yukishi's neck asking about the 2 doors in the boiler room.
I gotta watch their Higurashi Let's Read.
Oh yeah, shout out to 80% Relatable. They're doing a Higurashi read and it's great. However, it is slightly not great because they're using the Steam sprites? Steam. Not the Steam sprites. They're using the original sprites, but they're using Steam music, so you don't get to hear the amazing dun 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 dun.
That's rough.
No.
And like I think about that piece of music so much, and like every single time they're playing club games, I'm like, why am I not hearing the most obnoxious piece of music playing for like 2 fucking hours?
Before we get too off topic about the author stuff, I did want to say, well, I think that Hachijo here is very much a parody of Ryukishi's author Sona. I feel like Battler, honestly, especially in EP6, is more of the self-insert, which I can get into more later, but I'm just putting that on the record for something to think about.
I remember when I first heard about the Higurashi thing, so I was like, Higurashi's free on Steam, so I picked it up, and then I was reading about how the OST was different. And I was just instinctively ugh, and I installed the 7th mod as soon as possible. But as far as I know, it might be better because I do remember that particular sound effect, and after the 17th time it plays on the same while you're still reading the same pane of text. It's I'm sure they came out with something that's at least a little bit less obnoxious.
Okay, but the obnoxiousness is part of the charm.
Yeah, that's true.
My favorite part about Higurashi is that the first 4 episodes you read, it's all just a free music that Yukishi got off the internet. And if it wasn't because of the fact that Yukishi found the most obnoxious pieces of music and was so bad at sound engineering, we wouldn't have Dai.
That's very true.
Yeah, still one of my favorite stories about Dai. Dai wrote, be like, hey, Yukishi, good story you're writing. You fucking suck at music. And then Yukishi says, then you try, lol. And then he did. And then he wrote all the most incredible pieces of music with Higurashi and Umineko.
Yeah.
And Ryukishi said, I'll name a catchphrase after you.
Oh my god! Imagine.
The circle that it comes around. But yes, is there anything else?
I also have one final thought.
Your final thought.
I hope this doesn't derail the conversation too much, but all those theories about how Yokotaro equals Ryukishi real question mark? They both use very similar scarves, the fact that they both write niche stories with weird themes.
Yeah, and you never meet Yokotaro's face. I totally, I believe in
the fact that both of them, the way, I don't know, I just keep thinking back to that clip of Yokotaro rolling on the ground, and then just the way Ryukishi, we've never seen Ryukishi rolling on the ground, but they kind of move similarly, I think.
I believe Ryukishi has the capacity. They have a similar build.
And then there's this part of the chapters we read when they're describing how this author Toya shows herself in public, and apparently it's with a mask too. And I'm like, Ryukishi, you trying to hint at something here? Enough time has passed. I think the world is ready for you to come out as Yokotaro.
Yes.
The reason. I think it would be so funny if it was the reason I haven't been writing King Kony is actually because I'm writing Mere Stork. Yes. The
Good
continuation to Ciconia Phase 1.
Good job, though.
Okay, well, spoiler thoughts?
Spoiler hours.
I have one more thing.
One more thing.
Push for pulling out the Columbo.
Just one more thing. Yeah, if anyone's reading along and actually hasn't read the whole series yet, I just want to say Zephar and Furfur, give them a chance. They're really annoying. I get it. you might come around.
They're
to them.
really funny.
They're really funny, but they're also really annoying. So
you found them annoying.
I feel your pain.
I love them.
I found them so annoying the first time I read.
love them from minute 1.
Yeah, I love this archetype of characters.
Yeah,
put in a type bit.
Although I'm biased because I opened up the tips and got the rare moment of looking at their information early, and I found out that they're genderqueer. So.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
See, I read the manga. I didn't even have the extremely obnoxious thing that they do that they may or may not do in this one because I just read the Let's Play, but they do this thing where they each say one thing and then they say something together and there's they all get applauded. And they do that so many times.
Oh my god.
The applauding, it's so fucking funny.
it gets oh my god. Speaking about that, you have to get to, if you're reading the LP archive, you have to get to listen to this part in, actual Let's Plays, because it's so hilarious, because every time they talk, and they're like, clap, 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 and then it's cheering, and it happens every time they talk. They show up, and there's do, 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 the music starts playing, and then it's just cheering in the background. It is the funniest possible.
It's so fucking funny, and then everyone around him is like, "What the fuck are these guys on?" Like everyone's just standing there, like standing man emoji, and they're like, "Well, Zephyr, what do you think about this?" "I don't know, Fufu. It's a mystery." And then you get the applause.
They're like those like Muppet like guys who sit in the like in the
Statler and Waldorf.
yeah, them.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible.
Honestly, we haven't gone an hour and 20 minutes in the spoiler-free part for a long time.
I know, we had a lot to talk about.
It's very fun. EP6 is probably my personal favorite of all of the EPs. I mean, I feel like EP8 is like, people be like, "Oh, I like EP8," because like everybody and their mom like EP8, unless you're not those people. And like, and then after that, you could be like, "I like EP7." Like, sure, you like EP7. I'm the type of, I'm totally proud to be one of those people that like be like, "Yeah, when I was first reading Umineko, I didn't understand EP7 at all. I like skipped half of it because I was so fucking bored because nothing, like, I understood nothing." And now you can make fun of me, but I was also like 13, so like, you know?
I cannot believe you skipped EP6.
Okay, you were 13. That's fair. I was about to say, how dare you?
No, exactly. I was 13. I like didn't understand. Like I was just like, wow, like they really just kept talking about this. Like, why do they keep talking about like all of the stuff that I don't care about? But like, you know, it's fine. So now we can talk about spoilers.
Phew, welcome to the spoiler part.
Spoiler time.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap.
It's a mystery. Clap, clap.
Oh my god, I have so many thoughts. I honestly fear that there's not gonna be enough time.
I have so many thoughts.
I have lots of thoughts that I don't even want to bring up in this episode because I feel like I want to like save them for like later episodes when the actual thing that I want to talk about happens. EP6 would probably be my favorite, if not for like one or two things that I take issue with later on.
I think it's funny that EP6 is my favorite, but it's like the one episode where I have the gripe about how it starts, but I don't have that with any other episode.
Yeah. That's. I think Lurf and I, we talked about this a lot about why we both hate how EP6 starts. The story setup is so much better if you think Battlers actually has the upper hand and then has their horrible drop, because like, I think it is important for the readers to think Battler is competent at a certain point, because everybody probably here has heard of the headcanon about the fact that the only way any of EP6 actually works out in the end is that Battler does know that there's a way for him to get out of the lock room and he chooses not to do it, because that's like and he purposely put himself into this locker room scenario, so the only person that could actually save him is Beatrice, correct? Like we all agree upon that, because that's just
I don't buy it. I'm putting my foot down.
What do you mean?
You don't buy it? Here's my my thoughts on this. So Battler understands the truth of Umineko, correct? He solved it episode 5. And he's making this game to prove that. And in addition to proving that, he is also creating this love game between Shannon and Cannon, which very obviously states that they are the same person unless you don't have eyes or a heart.
You're just not paying attention.
And then he also creates Fru and Zepar, who are two feminine presenting but have opposite gender funny theater kids who like show up to like orchestrate this whole thing. And that's really strange and odd, and that's only something that you can prepare if you understand what like the whole deal about Beatrice is. But yes, continue.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Battler's entire thing this episode, he has two goals here. One, he is presenting a mystery to Erica as a rematch for their last round, where maybe Erica might learn about love and have her redemption arc TM, hopefully, but like if not, then like fuck you, you lose. And then he really, really misses Beato and wants Beato back, but this Beato doesn't have the same experiences as the other Beato. She doesn't know what's going on, she doesn't understand, and she gets dragged into the love game with Battler. And, you know, like, has to fight for his love along with Shannon and Cannon. She's like, I don't know what this means. And Battler's just, like, orchestrating the love game as the game master. Like, don't worry about it, babe. Like, we'll figure it out. And then he gives Erica this duct tape, right? And he's been, like, pretty competent throughout this whole thing. Like, he explicitly, like, took the duct tape away from her until she had her sobbing act. He's like, I'll give you 3 pieces of sticky duct tape, and you can just choose to use this whenever, retroactively. You don't have to tell me how until it becomes relevant. He could have just said, like, oh, like, you can use it from here on out, like, you find some. But no, he said retroactively, you can use these 3 pieces of duct tape however you want. And you get stuck in this locker room, and he, like, goes through his plans of, like, how he would normally get out. And then he's like, fuck, all my solutions aren't working. But if I use the one that will work, I will be exposing Beato's secret, which is not mine to expose, to Erica.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and so because Battler doesn't want to just reveal Beato's heart, he can't just go like, oh, Canon can come save me. He can't do that on his own because that's not his secret to share. That's not, like, his place to do that. It's only when Beato comes in and saves him and figures it out when that secret is exposed, because that is her decision to do that. That's her magic. That's her heart. That's, like, her everything. And Battler didn't want to risk exposing it to Burn Castell and Erica of, like, oh, well, I can just use the funny cannon trick and it works because fuck you. Because that's just not the kind of game Battler plays. Like, Beato's secret is, like, sacred to him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, you know, Sayo wasn't even the culprit in EP6. It was supposed to be a prank.
A prank gone wrong.
So, like, even then, he wasn't going to be revealing it to Erica. It was never his intent to reveal Erica's secret, not Erica's secret, Beato's secret to Erica. They were just having a rematch. That's not for Erica to know.
Yeah, I agree that Battler does not want Erica to know the secret, and that there would be an element of risk that Erica figures it out if he used that answer. But also, I think that it's, first of all, overestimating Battler's intelligence just a little bit to say that he couldn't possibly...
What do you mean overestimating it? Battler's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, but it sounds like, he couldn't possibly be stupid enough to fall for this. And it's like...
Oh, I mean, I think he's stupid, don't get me wrong.
Basically, my problem with the theory is that it makes it sound like Battler orchestrated his failure in order to try and get Beatrice back, which has all kinds of implications because of the whole chick Beato.
I don't think it was that.
Yeah, I don't think he orchestrated this. He was like, oh, I'll give them 3 duct tapes and I know what they'll do with it. I know that they'll put me in a logic check and that'll be the perfect opportunity for Beato, my lover, to return to me. That's not it at all. I think...
You know what? Okay,
Yeah, no.
I accept that. I revised my thing. I do think Battler is stupid enough to fall for this. I do think he's competent, though, and, like, knew the secret and knew how to get out of it. He just refused to. Like, he got himself in a hole and he was like, fuck, I'll figure out a different way so I don't expose Beato's secret. Fuck, shit. Because one of my favorite things about EP6 is how it goes to, like, a Battler as Kinzo and Chick Beato as Kuwadorian Beato to a future kind of thing where Battler takes the position of Sayo and Beato does what Sayo always wanted and comes for Battler on a white horse, basically. Like, she is his savior, his knight in shiny armor. She gets him out of this.
Yeah.
And it kind of, like, has, like, a little reverse switcheroo where, you know, Beato comes to Battler's rescue, just like how Sayo always wanted Battler to rescue her.
Yeah, I think that, for the sake of argument, I was a little bit aggressive. And I'm not apologizing for that.
No,
it was super funny.
that's actually...
for everybody to just go silent when I was saying, I don't buy it.
No, I think that's actually really funny. I totally see where you're going, and I also, like, okay, I totally agree with what you're trying to say about this whole thing about Battler, because I think because of the fact that, like, most people find it really uncomfortable by the idea that, like, Battler and Chick Beatrice is supposed to also have Kingzul parallels, it makes, like, it makes people uncomfortable in the first place. Yes. Like, you know, like, any amount of, like, orchestrating or planning or, like, trying to make you fail or win, it makes it, like, so much not consensual, like, not even consensual is not the correct word for it, like, it just feels really yucky is a better way to do it. Mm-hmm. So like, and the thing is that, like, I think while Battler's a lot of things, he is not a calculated bastard. Like, that's what, and I think, like, that's what you're trying to say in this moment, and I totally agree.
Regardless of what happens, he's written to be a good person.
Yes.
Yes.
And okay, just so you don't feel bad about it, I think you just out of nowhere going, "I don't bite" was so fucking funny. and I mean, have you listened to any argument between me and Mushroom? Like, it's funny when you get heated.
That entire episode of you talking about the triple lock drum chain, I died. But it was so good because he kept pulling out rugs from under each other. But basically, I think that it's sweet, the idea that Battler is could escape but doesn't want to. I think that could work as long as he didn't fall for this trap on purpose.
Yeah.
But I think that it's more meaningful to me personally if Battler literally can't figure this out and it's taking him too long to figure out, and Beatrice, with the experience of locked rooms and just being, I think, canonically smarter than Battler, for her to actually use her strengths to help Battler solve this locked room, rather than Battler being, I could solve this, but it'd be really bad if I solved this, and then Beatrice busts in and does the exact same thing he didn't want to.
His motive isn't like necessarily like, oh, like I don't want to do it this way. He's like, it's not my secret to out, it's her. So if she does it, that's her deal, because she's been doing it this whole time, but that's not his
decision to make.
Yeah, it's not his decision to out her.
Yeah, he's trying to do the same thing he did in EP5, which is at the end of EP5 when he's fighting Erika and Erika is winning, he reaches the truth, but he doesn't kill Erika's theory by presenting the world with the truth. He ties with Erika's theory by making a different theory. So in this closed room, he's trying to come up with a different theory that could explain what's happening and how he could leave the room without actually, pulling the truth out.
Yeah.
But it's not his place to out his girlfriend as trans. Erika doesn't need to know that information.
Yeah. Basically, I think that, and this is a full thought, the first part of the thought is Battler didn't orchestrate his own failure. He failed because he just failed, because he didn't expect Erika to kill everyone.
Because he's incompetent, Red Truth TM.
Yeah, he is incompetent. That's indirect.
Yeah, it's his first time writing a story.
But to finish the thought, as long as we accept that Battler didn't fail on purpose, I think it could go either way. It's just a matter of choice whether Battler really couldn't figure out to use the guest house, or whether he could have used that but is desperately trying to use a different thing.
To be fair to Battler, every time he's incompetent, it's always because he's got some second ulterior motive. When he gets dropped the world famous Red Truth that he's incompetent, it's because he's constantly being oh, are there 19 people on this island? Wait, but that's stupid. It must be one of the 18. Oh, but I like all those people, so it must be the 19th. He's trying to solve two things at once that are incompatible, and I think it's the same here. I subscribe to the Battler not actually stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't blame Battler for being confused by the retroactive duct tape that two of them are used in the guest house. I still get confused by that to this day.
I think it did jump scare him.
I think there is a possibility that Battler did plan it, and it's not because it's a satisfying thematic reason, but because of something I have a gripe with about the way this whole episode is structured. And this was the thing I wasn't sure I wanted to bring up, but to hell with it. The way the whole episode goes, it's not even a full game on the game board, and it kind of I struggle with normally it's pieces on the game board, I kind of understand how they work. It's like a video game, like a D&D game. You go I open the door, right? The whole game goes up until a point where Erika could say I open the door, but she decides not to. But I don't understand why when Bato comes out with a counter to Erika's truth, why the game has to end there and she can't just pick it back up and open the door, which ends the entire cannon's going to be in the room in the cupboard. So you know what I mean? Normally the bomb goes off, and that's
the reason for that is it's going to require. Yeah, it's going to require getting to that point in the reread to be sure, but I'm pretty sure there is an actual reason, they're staking their lives on a duel. It's not a regular debate.
Yeah, we need to get there.
I think it's Lambda Delta just, in place of the game master who can no longer continue, just says, alright, game's over. You win. But, you can't just go, you win, and then someone comes back later and goes, hey, I contacted the video ref, and they said that you were offside.
Actually, No one won, because the whole deal with the logic error is if Battler ever thinks of a way to get out of there, like if there's ever a way out of the room, then, you know, the game continues, because, you know, like that's the whole deal with the logic error. It's a logic error, and the game is put on pause until it's completed. So I don't think Erica ever won. They were just kind of like, yeah, you win on condition, because there's no way Battler's ever going to get out of this because he's stupid and incompetent, and there's no way, because you made an impossible room to get out of.
But then the game just
was
ends.
Like, Beato was like, but what if it wasn't impossible? And everyone's like, what? No way.
Oh, you know what it probably is? It's actually something that's addressed in this very section that we read. It's addressed multiple times, like the idea that for a higher being like a witch or a creator, death is when you stop thinking, however that means for you. For like Sakataro, Maria could die by losing interest in playing with toys, and then by extension the game board in her mind disappears. Or it could be Erica, literally the only reason she could possibly be dead when she gets shot is that she stopped thinking.
Which I guess comes back to why I think there's a possibility that that Battler planned this whole thing as like this insane Machiavellian plan to revive Beato, which is like just basically that this is a book written by, as we know, Hachijo Toya, the real person, who is actually Battler, and he can just write the book however he wants. Which kind of bleeds through into like the meta world where like I guess like Meta Battler planned this something. That was what I wanted originally, yeah.
I think we should leave this for when we get there, because there's a lot to discuss in what we did read.
Yeah. Let's kick off with that though and talk about Chick Beato, because this is extremely disturbing implications for this, and it's just like one-to-one
with Kinzo.
Well, not exactly.
Yes. With
Kinzo, where suddenly this person that he knew in sort of a romantic sense, in sort of a mental partner sense, in sort of they were soulmates, and now suddenly it's a whole new person who calls you daddy.
Yes. It's your lover dies, and then you try to revive them metaphorically by grooming the descendant. It's the fact that they both use the cape. It's the fact that later on in EP7 it's implied that Kinzo's personality was just like Butler's when he was young,
except more depressed.
It's the fact that Meta Butler plans all his things in Kinzo's study. There's just so much.
It's the fact that Kumasawa and Genji are there instead of their partners, which were made up by Sayo.
And honestly, I could totally see Butler eventually becoming Kinzo by madness.
I guess that's the risk.
It do be the risk, but I think there's very much a parallel here that is showing, like, obviously to the audience of, like, hey, so I know you were wondering about Kinzo and Kurodori and Beatrice. Here is your kind of in to figure out what happened there as, like, a more direct, given that these are the quote-unquote answer arcs. But I think something to think about is that, well, Kinzo fucked up royally. I think Battler shows to be the better person by going, yeah, I'll accept the daughter thing. Like,
yes,
you know, like, I will think of her as Beato's child and nothing else. And he, like, does start, like, you know, like, doing better on that front. And then the logic error happens, and at least my interpretation of episode 6 is, like, you know, like, logic error is kind of, like, resembling, like, Kinzo's madness, but, you know, like, in its own way. But, like, Battler himself didn't, like, you know, go crazy about, like, Beato specifically. Like, he never did anything bad to Chick Beato, and, like, via the logic error, in that logic error thing, there's a bit of a time skip in which Chick Beato, quote-unquote, dies, aka the Kuwadorian Beato dies, and the Beato that represents the rules reads the stories and comes to understand them, and in a way goes through the same journey that Sayo went through, who Sayo's Beato is kind of a culmination of all the Beatos, given that she learned their history, and then is able to go rescue Battler in the thing that parallels what she always wanted Battler to do for her. So I think that's kind of the story of episode 6 in my mind, where it's not necessarily like Battler is Kinzo, but this time it worked out and he did groom his daughter. I think it's a Battler starts as Kinzo, logic error happens, and there is a bit of a little switch up that happens because Chick Beato stops being the Kuwadori and Beato stand-in and starts being the Sayo Beato.
Oh, you know what? That's so interesting because now, again, we're dwelling in the future, but whatever. When like the two Beatos are in the game and then Chick Beato disappears and we're left with the Witch of the Night Beatrice, and it's sort of like I sort of wondered, well, what's going to happen to the Witch of the Night Beatrice? And wouldn't it be interesting if she was actually the one who came back and saved Battler?
Ooh.
Wait, sorry, really quick. I gotta I gotta go like take care of some stuff, so I'm gonna hop off. But I'll send my recording later. But it was really nice talking to you guys. All right, cool.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
toodles. Catch you later.
So, I know we jumped ahead a little bit to talk too much about the bunch of Chick Beatrice and all the stuff, right? I do wanted to mention the Beatrice of Night. So the thing is that I don't know if the whole thing people remember well enough, but like the whole idea is that like it's two Beatrice makes a whole Beatrice, and like Chick Beatrice in the end is the Beatrice of the Night, and is also the version of Beatrice who gets to read all the previous versions of Beatrice in the book. Like, that's kind of everything all at the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
So she's like the Ubermensch, or like someone who's like actuated and faced their shadow self, a la Persona 4 or Jungian psychology.
Yes, yes. There's a whole point because I want to talk a lot about the Beatrice while we get to it, because there's so many very interesting things about Chick Beatrice and the sister Beatrice, because one of them is Sayo's Beatrice, and the other one is the Beatrice of perception, I guess, like what people imagine Beatrice to be, and then how she blends the two ideas of Beatrice together to make the Beatrice, and then plus 6 years of torment makes the Beatrice we make today, which is kind of the whole point of what creates a Beatrice and what creates the current like that's what it's trying to answer. Anyway, I feel like that is a little bit of a topic that is too hard to tackle right now. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Please let's leave these topics for when we get there.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
talking ahead for a little bit there, but
Let's focus up.
back to here.
Yes.
Um,
There's this whole thing about how Angie doesn't remember how she got into the study, right? I remember when we did our authorship theory, we kept saying that once we got here, we would try to fit things together in the timeline better.
True enough.
Oh no.
And we've finally gotten here. And there's this line that I think helps us pretty concretely decide that Angie visited Ikuko before going on onto Urakenjima. So basically she's talking about possibilities and the choice she's made. She's talking about how it's very fortunate that Ikuko agreed to have this meeting with her, and she says, after all, in almost all cases, I mean, I'd never be contacted by the publishing company and would leave for Nijima the next day. So there you have it. She did visit Ikuko before going to the island.
Yeah, but the scariest thing is that she also knows that she's gonna go to Nijima for the next day, and she knows that there's different alliterations, which is also very scary.
But yeah, she does. She has memories of the future, which I think is just meta stuff. Because even though they're using real world sprites, this is a meta scene. And the reason she doesn't remember, quote unquote, this meeting is because it's the same answer as to why in EP8 she says she's never met Ikuko. It's because she's meeting Ikuko as she is hiding from the Sumaderas. So the way this kind of thing goes is that when Angie is undercover, she dies, because remember, the first time she goes undercover is when she jumps off the building to shake off the Sumaderas. And so since she's hidden from the world, it's almost as if she's dead. And then when she presents herself to the world again, either by being found out by the Sumaderas or anything else, or using her name to get certain things, like she does when she meets Ikuko, she revives. That's why she just wakes up in this room with no memories of how she got there, because she wasn't Angie. She wasn't acting as Angie.
Oh, she wasn't Angie until that moment.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
That's why like when she goes to the island and confronts the Sumaderas, she dies there, right? We hear a gunshot at the end. That's because that's the final time Angie died, because from there on she started living life as someone different.
Oh.
Angie died. She doesn't want anybody going after her for her money or anything like that. The only people who were after her were the Sumaderas. And now that that's done, she can finally definitively move on as a different person.
That's a great theory.
Des, you single-handedly fixed my problem with Angie's timeline. Thank you.
I like Lurf and I going, oh, we're like Des's theory hype squad.
I don't know if that like fixes my problems with the ending, because it's like it's so messy. Like Angie like has this whole like thing going to Rokkenjima. I'm pretty sure she's supposed to die if she sets foot on Rokkenjima, because the only way she gets there is by not resolving the problems that she has between her and Okanogi, and if she does that, then she gets killed by... I'm pretty sure she gets killed by...
Well, I'll explain it to you how I think it goes, and you'll tell me if you have any problem with this explanation. So, man, this I have so many things to explain you for this, actually. So let me just continue my thought. I want to tell you what I think actually happened when Angie visited Ikuko. Because my previous idea before rereading this part was that she went in there, she read EP6. Remember my idea that Toya, upon remembering things and figuring out canons, he started remembering things, and then he felt bad that he was just toying with Angie's family in his works, so he wanted to make it up for her. The part wherein Toya wanted to make it up for Angie, so he wrote this wholesome scenario, which is what we read in EP8, and then asked Ikuko to give that for Angie to read when she went to when she visited her. So Angie basically read EP6 and the wholesome parts of EP8. That was what I thought. But now, having reread, I think there's a much more organic way to do this, which is she actually only read EP6. And the way this works is that when you think about it, because like whatever she read at Ikuko's place has to be enough motivation for her to abandon her journey. So when you think about what EP6 is as a mystery, is a non-mystery. No one fucking dies. No one's the culprit. The culprit is Erika. So Butler managed to write up a story where none of the family members are portrayed in a bad light. And I think that's what EP8 Meta Butler is giving to child Angie, is this thought that, hey, you can make up your own truth, where none of them are culprits, where they were just victims of some unfortunate thing that happened to them. I don't think Angie realizes, it goes through that mental journey as she's reading EP6. I think she starts thinking about it then, and then finally makes her decision on the boat, where she can decide to go down paranoia hell and start suspecting Kawabata and Amakusa, and then just fuck off on her journey as the Witch of Truth and accomplish nothing. Or she can decide that, okay, I'll go to Rokkenjima and Angie will die there and I will move on as someone new. And then she gets there, Tsumaderas attack her, everything that we see in EP4 happens, and then yeah, she won and she lives as someone new. With, you can choose to believe if she moves on with Kumaso, fucking the servant or not.
I mean, my take is that Angie, at least Angie's body lives either way, because I still stand by the fact that Angie lived to the end of episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. So just not as Angie.
Yeah.
The only issue that I see is that literally the magic ending, as in once you enter the magic door, the events that take place from Angie's perspective before the end, not including like the epilogue. The magic ending cannot be in the same timeline as, well, not necessarily. I don't think it can be in the same timeline as meeting with
yeah, I agree with that.
Hachijo Toya here.
Why?
Because the magic ending takes place long before she even starts the journey. It starts place before she jumps off the building.
Yes, because when she makes that decision to move on as someone new, every Angie action retroactively gets retconned, like her meeting with Ikuko. Once she steps onto that new journey after winning against Sumaderas in Rokenji Mine, starting as someone new, her life as Angie gets retroactively retconned, like out of nowhere. She just never met Ikuko actually.
Because she's not Angie anymore.
I get it. So it's like Ikuko's like the event we already said that's meta, so that's out of time and space. Once that's inserted into her timeline, like once that happens to her on a meta level, the magic ending sort of becomes possible, I guess is what you're saying.
Like the public perception of Angie died when she jumped off the building, because that's when she went off the radar, and the only people who were able to track her were the people who were trying to track her, which was the Sumaderas. She didn't make any public appearance. Even when she contacted the agency to get through to Ikuko, I'm pretty sure she used some kind of riddle that only Ikuko would understand, just like Ikuko riddles her author names, and then that's how Angie found her out, was by solving the riddle in her pen name. I'm pretty sure that's the same kind of trick that Angie used to reach Ikuko without outing herself as Angie. That's why she calls it fortunate that this whole meeting happened. It's kind of like a miracle. I'm pretty sure that's how she describes it. And so, since her last public appearance, I guess, was...
Okay, so wait, Des, I let me insert my thought in, because I feel like I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So I think what Des is trying to say is that, like, I think what we're treating Angie's scenes too literally. Like, we think, like, I think it's easy to see everything that happens on the island as a version of a scene, that when you thread all the scenes together, it makes for a more complete picture, but they're all just interpretations of a scene that actually is not there. In a way, if Angie dies and that she goes onto this journey, everything that happens to her is also a collection of alternative scenes that could happen. And
I don't think they're alternatives. They're not like different timelines. They're things that actually happened.
Well, not
Not all of them can actually happen, though, right?
I think I know what Des is trying to say.
Okay, everybody, let's interpret Des text. This is what we're gonna end with. This is everybody interpret.
Okay, this is my interpretation of what
Des
Des has to say.
Okay.
So, basically...
We're not even interpreting the text anymore.
Like, I'm here. You don't need to
there
Yes, let's go.
there are two bits of this, because Angie is two people. Angie is Angie Ustromiya, and Angie is whatever her alias is when she stops going by Angie.
Mm-hmm.
And Angie, as a witch, only can live and die depending on like when she starts thinking, because that's how witches work.
But she's not a witch. Like
Angie is the witch of resurrection. She is a witch.
I mean, yes. Okay, no, sorry, continue. I will not interrupt you.
And Maria was also in witch training, so whatever. The witches die and resurrect because, you know, like, when they start thinking again, they can go back into that world, is what I mean. So if Angie is a witch and inherited the Golden Witch title from Ava, when she died, she is a witch and can go into her Angie persona whenever she starts being Angie again, which is to say, she can be Angie and someone else. So, Angie, quote-unquote, dies by jumping off the building. And then Angie stops living Angie's life. She is someone else, quote-unquote, but she still goes through other bits of her journey as Angie. So, Angie went to visit Hachijo, but other Angie, new Angie, did not. And she's kind of going through life under an alias. So Angie could have both done those things and not done those things based on pulling anything of like, oh, Shannon could have done this, but Canon also could have done this, you know?
Okay, but why is the magic ending? Why is the magic ending on the hospital though? Like it's still just put the magic ending on the boat and it's fine. Like that's.
I'm not phrasing this very well. I think the magic ending is kind of sort of like this is the cover story for when Angie faked her death and went on her journey. This is the cover story. She went through her journey, but by the end of it, came out of the magic way.
But like the cover story makes no sense because like she has to have met Ikuko and read EP8 and EP6 before she makes these decisions because that's the the character development that she needs to actually.
No, this is not. Sorry, this is not when she makes the decision. This is when she first went into hiding.
Yeah, but she's going to get shot. Like if she does that, she's still going to get shot.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Angie we're looking at here is sort of like an Angie from another timeline who went to Rokenjima and either died or discarded her true self. Either way, she quote-unquote died. And now she's put into this reality that's sort of a blend of what happened if she met Ikuko after... Jesus.
I feel like we all feel... Okay, the thing is that I feel like we all... A, are having a hard time remembering the end, and B, having a hard time remembering the middle. I feel like at this point, we might have to come back and...
I think you guys are misinterpreting what happens with Angie on the roof. Because let me tell you what happens with Angie in the magic ending.
Okay.
We should stop.
Angie...
You know what? Everyone always asks how we can visualize the fourth dimension. This is it. It's just Angie Shinomiya.
Okay, listen to me. What happens on the roof is not anything special, actually. It's very similar to what happens in episode 4, where she's up there, and a guard comes up and is like, oh no, you're not gonna jump, are you? And she's like, nah, I'm just gonna, like, chill here for a bit. And then she calls, is like, yo, Okanogi, I'm gonna give you the Ushumiya group in exchange for some things that I want. And then she says that Angie just fell here and died, and now I'm gonna live as a witch.
But why
and then I'm gonna put my identity away and be someone else. And then we cut to the future.
Oh, and so every time Okanogi says something like, oh, so I can't believe you survived that. Oh, geez. He's being, like, ironic. He's being...
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Because it's just the cover story. She officially died there.
So whether it's the trick ending, or she is shot on Rokenjima, or she discards her old self before or after arriving on Rokenjima, that is still possible. And so is meeting Ikuko after the magic ending occurs.
No, she...
Yeah, because the magic ending is the start of Angie's journey.
There's no time for that.
No, she meets Ikuko before. She meets Ikuko before the magic ending.
But that doesn't make any sense, because after this, Amakusa comes back after getting the black bag that he doesn't have yet. And why would he need the black bag if the magic ending has happened?
Exactly. That's what I was telling you. Because she needs to meet Ikuko. Because it's so whatever she reads in Ikuko's place is what prompts her to abandon her journey to go to Rokenjima as a final place.
But she doesn't.
Wait, pause. I do have to say this thing about Akusa's black bag thing, which is that, like, we're assuming that, like, the whole thing about Amakusa black bag is that Amakusa has a gun. He could choose to point gun at Tsumadera or at Angie. It's not like, black bag means Angie's definitely gonna die on Rokenjima.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't... man. I guess I see where you're coming from, yeah.
What?
It is really messy.
I think we're confusing the magic ending with the start of the magic ending and the end of the magic ending. So what happens is Angie fakes her death.
Okay, so let's stop referring...
Yeah, I don't remember how the magic ending ends.
Let's stop referring to it as magic ending. Let's just actually concretely describe what we're talking about.
I like how we have a magic ending beginning and a magic ending.
Yeah.
So, like, Pokey, what is it that's not making sense to you with the idea that she meets Ikuko before going to Rokenjima?
Well, first of all, if we jump to the tea party of episode 8, where she actually meets the two authors,
yes,
they talk about how that she had requested to meet with the author because she knew that she figured out from their Reddit tag who they really were, and and then she got denied
exactly
because Toya didn't want to meet with her.
That's the cover story.
That's the cover story?
That's the cover story because
Angie's so emotional about not having been able to meet her brother all this time.
She never knew.
Yeah, she didn't meet Toya, she met Ikuko.
Yeah.
Oh, but she said she didn't meet anyone at all.
Exactly, that's the cover story, because in Wiggle terms, she was dead by that point.
Wait, actually, do you want to be really upset about this and hate Rikishi even more? Are you guys ready? This is very important.
Tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the VM version, I know this for sure because I think we actually have references that's in this different point. In the VN version, Angie says, I have never met with Ikuko Toya back in like all these years ago, and that's what she says.
Oh my gosh.
In the manga version, she says she has. And she has only met with a woman.
Oh my
Fucking
god.
Ryukishi, man.
That's one of the
Alright, so what we've learned is that this is all pointless.
what we learned is Ryukishi's a fucking bastard and we should fucking get him and kill him.
Ryukishi's your...
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Yeah, I
let
think
me...
Angie literally just meant I didn't meet with the Toya part of it. I did not meet my brother. I met that woman.
Yeah, wait. Let me find you it because it is the funniest text. I think this drove me crazy because when Des and I were trying to come up with the fucking timeline, we were also just talking about this forever, and we were like, how is it possible for her to meet these people? And at what point did she make her fucking decision? And the answer is Ryukishi's a fucking bastard. I'm gonna punch the shit out of him.
He just changed his mind.
Okay, here, I'll find you it. It is the funniest thing. So if anybody wants to parallel play this, go to LP Archive and try to find the specific wording on the After Decades. I think it's Toya. I think I can definitely find this fast.
What are you looking for?
Don't worry, I'm gonna find it. Don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Boy, I really wanted to talk about I equals Y today.
No, we're not talking about I equals Y.
That needs to be his own fucking thing.
There's so many hints though.
We'll talk about. We have a whole problem. I equals Y is really, really. It's a fucking stoozy, man.
For those that don't know, Ikuko equals Yasu, the theory that Ikuko is actually Saya.
I have a lot of opinions about how Ryukishi wrote Umineko and this part. I feel like it is kind of confusing and not
What
it's
part of Umineko isn't confusing?
Yeah, the emotional journey is incredible, but I feel like the reason why we are all still talking about this now is because we have a hard time being able to live with the specific answers that Ryukishi somehow put it in here. Okay,
But it's better like this.
it is better like this. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the manga panel. So it starts talking about this here. This is evil Ryukishi in his evil manga arc. Are you ready to read this?
Oh my god, yeah, she does just straight up say she met her.
Okay, so she says this. She says, as you see, Koya actually inquired about the high interest in a private meeting, and she says, with me, yeah, not by phone or conversation. Would you like to be kind to agree? Blah blah. Of course, I was. She says, I have not encountered Hachito Toya after that one certain incident. At that time, I actually loathed her, which was the one who leading the force behind the Rokuntio mystery as a forgery author. But I am not actually quite fearful due to the opening, blah blah, all this stuff. And
I think this could just be another instance of, you know how Ryukishi says that he did confession because he wanted to answer some of the questions that the fans had for 10 years. I think this may just be one of those instances too. Like he just showed the truth that she actually met her just because he thought it would be healthy for the story, I guess. Yes,
I agree with that. I agree with that idea. It just kind of drives me crazy at times. So yes, I totally believe that she did actually meet up with Ikuko, but didn't see Toya at that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
that's the
I'll buy it.
The thing about the manga version is that the manga version also tells you directly that Eva met with Ikuko and Toya, which is another crazy thing that they tell you.
Oh, that is so interesting. I actually remember you saying that in the very chain room. No, it was the authorship episode. I remember. I thought that was just your theory. That actually happens in the manga.
No. It's there is a shot.
That's how she gets the diary, right?
That's how they get the diary. It's because Eva shows up and gives it to them, and that's super fucking weird because that's just a thing that the manga has.
Did Ava know that it was the battler was hanging out?
Yes. That's the whole... Wait, I'll find you that exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, that has really interesting implications.
If I remember correctly, it's because what tipped Eva off was how close to real life the depiction of the characters in Ikuko's stories were.
There's just more reason why Angie has to meet Ikuko before she can.
Are you guys ready? Here. I'm posting you the exact do you see this shot that says the culprit? Yeah, at the time, Toya firmly believed that, going by his memory, Ushinomiya Eva was the culprit of the mass murder. So the time when we had released the several works of work, starting with Banquet, Ushiro Eva herself came to ask for us. And it says, Eva Obasan, like you, she as well understood that Ikuko is Hachijo Toya, but even more clearly, she came to have convinced that the author is one of those forgers, must have been a survivor of those incidents. So you really did survive Battler-kun. Like, this is insane things that Yuikishi wrote into the manga. That's why I have a lot of opinions about the manga, but, like, I also think it's, like, Yuikishi wanted you to know this, like, you know. He says, that was when the three of us shared the truth of what happened on that day. Having Ikuko listen to it, it was an impartial third party. I learned that the tragedy would happen on the incident of the VIP on that day. Well, Balor was not present.
But she's got the diary. That's exactly what Rokenjima Prime is.
So Ikuko knows about Rokenjima Prime? I thought this.
Yes, that's the whole point. That's what I told you.
Wait, no, it does make sense though, because she's just writing stupid fanfic after that point to like throw people off the trail.
Okay, wanna know why that makes no sense?
Yeah, she's lying.
Because in these chapters that we read, Ikuko time and time again mentions how she's going through the story in an earnest manner, and
because
but she can be a fucking liar.
She could just be
no,
lying.
but it also doesn't make any sense with EP7 about how the whole point of Bernd's game is for Ikuko to check her answers.
Okay, no. Okay, I have a disagreement about that. I think they learned of Rokenjima Prime after EP6. Like,
no, they
not after or during EP6. Like, I don't like because they said they wrote us several stories.
Ava has to be alive.
And she reads the Book of the Single Truth in EP6.
Yeah, Ava's dead before EP6, so it has to happen.
And that's like the brand new one, and Ava's dead by that point.
Anyway, that's Yukishi for you, baby. Woohoo! Are you guys mad?
Wow.
Are you guys super upset?
What I think EP7 actually is you know, like the whole checking answers thing, and the fact that Will is the head, who is supposed to represent Toya, is less they don't already know, but it's more like the battler in Toya, or like Toya like reconciling with the memories and being like, does this check out, because now I'm remembering things, and so he's going through it in his mind bit by bit and remembering what he knows about the incident.
You know what?
And matching it to Ava's and understanding.
I actually think that episode 6 is that. I think episode 6 is Toya reckoning with his
I think it can kind of be both, where like episode 6 is the start of it, and then episode 7 is the acceptance.
Oh,
and like the putting it to rest and being like, I'm not gonna be like involving myself in this too much more, but he has to for Angie by episode 8.
But yeah.
Because episode 6 is kind of like Battler breaking free of Toya's mind, and Toya being like, wait, I used to be this guy. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute.
Wait, but then if Ikuko already knows of Prime, then what the fuck does she mean when she says that she can't have, like, she needs Angie to read the story now?
Because episode 6 is a different story than Rokenjima Prime.
okay, I've got this on lock.
Okay, I'm excited.
I'm locking this back into I equals Y, and you're gonna like it.
Oh my god.
Pokey, are you a I equals Y subscriber?
I'm an I equals Y truther.
Oh god.
Damn.
I'm so excited about this. This is gonna make this amazing.
We're gonna have some conversations.
I'm bought in on this, okay? So, what's going on here is that, so up till now, Banquet, Alliance, and End were published under Hachicho Toya, or maybe it was the other pen name. But
yeah,
Ikuko puts out this fanfiction. Angie has read it, and she knows that it has the same scent as the actual message bottles. That could mean anything. That's not real evidence. But basically, she's read about it, but she does not know that Battler is the game master. So that confirms, and I think we already knew this, but it outright confirms that the meta-narrative, or at least that part of it, is not included in the forgeries that were published by Ikuko.
Yes.
But Angie reading this story is reading the story including the meta-narrative, and that was written by Toya, that Ikuko is reading for maybe not the first time, but she knows the answers, but is also wants to hear someone else read it through them. So it's sort of not her story, it's Battler's story, or Toya's story.
I'm not sure I understand. Are you trying to say that the EP6 that Angie is reading on the real world has the meta narrative in it?
Yes, and that is Toya's doing.
What? That doesn't. I don't think that makes sense.
I think actually it's episode 6 was written by Toya only, while episode 5
Yes.
was written by Ikugo only, and therefore Ikugo being like, "Hey Angie, read this. I have theories about it. I want to theorize with you. I don't know the ending to this one."
Yes.
Genuine and like, "Hey, your brother, but you don't know this, wrote this story. We should read it together."
Yeah, that feels like it. Like, in this scene, Featherine is both a commentator on a story that she didn't read, but also it's kind of her story.
Yeah, I think this is all incredible, great commentary. We need to stop cooking. Everybody needs to get out the kitchen. 10 out of 10, delicious meal.
Yeah.
God damn, bro. Jesus.
I'm glad that we are pulling up all these stuff again because I think every single time we talk about this, it just gets even more interesting. And the fact that I was able to tell everybody that Yuikishi added a bunch of fucking scenes in manga is very fascinating. I am not one of those people who are like, you shouldn't read the Umineko manga. I actually think the Umineko EPA manga is very good. But I do think you should read both because the things that Yuikishi doesn't tell you in the visual novel version is very fascinating. Like, that he ends up deciding to, explain to you. And now everybody knows that Yukishi did say that Eva met with Angel. But besides talking about in-depth of EP8, is there anything else that people want to talk about specifically about the scenes that we just... Yes.
It's a thought that occurred to me as I was reading these parts. It's not about these parts, but it's occurred to me as I read the fact that all message bottles got signed off as being written by Oshiromi Maria, and that just got me thinking that if all these message bottles are assigned to Maria, well, then that just means that in a way she succeeded Beato, just like Beato succeeded Virgilia.
That's cute.
Aww.
Isn't that cute? And another thought regarding to that is the fact that why is Beato signing things as Maria? She's not Maria. And then you think about how they are the two witches in Mariage Sorcier, and Mariage Sorcier is a marriage, which means that what belongs to one person belongs to the other person too. So the two kind of become one. So Beato is entitled to sign off as Maria, I guess.
It is very cute.
Is that what Sayo saw in George? They were both interested in marrying children.
What?
Shut up!
Oh no!
That's not how that works.
What? Oh my god! No, you did not.
Sorry.
No, you did not, Horse.
Shall I do my thing, or
That's very
you got
funny,
more depth?
Yes. That's it.
Okay, so I just had this thought as well, just while reading this now. But the fact that it's Genji and Kumasawa instead of Renove and Virgilia helping Battler. The fact that they don't tell him anything about like Chick Bato. They're like, oh yeah, Bato revived. Everything will be great. It'll be exactly the way it used to be. Which is like really obnoxiously lying to him because they could just tell him like, hey, heads up, blah 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 blah. Is that like similar to? Is this the sin that Kumasawa and Genji had? Did they encourage Kinzo to think that Bato had resurrected as their daughter?
They definitely allowed it to happen. They just did nothing.
Did they seed this idea that she was a resurrection?
There is some power that Kinzo has as their employer, but they have known each other for a long time. They are friends. Just tell your dude to stop doing that.
I'm not even meaning that. I'm just like the idea that like was Kinzo like so depressed like after the death of Italian Beatrice that they were like,
oh,
hey, I'm pretty sure like supernatural finger wiggling like that this is actually the reincarnation of Beatrice, so it's fine. Be happy, embrace the love you have for your daughter. And then Kinzo was like, what a great idea. And then No?
I don't think it was their idea.
I don't think it was their idea because there are bits throughout episode 6 where like Kumasawa, Genji, and Nanji are like, what if you thought of her instead as a daughter? Like, what if you thought about that? but they don't do anything to stop Kinzo from the resurrection thing. And when, like, Kinzo goes off on it, it's kind of like, it's better to agree with a crazy person than it is to deny them, because you're not going to get anywhere. So it's kind of, like, better to, like, try to, like, feed the delusion and try to, like, steer them away with that than, you know, like, oh, it is kind of like she was revived via her daughter. Like, you know, Kinzo, like, you can think of her as, like, Beato's, the next, incarnation of Beato, like, a daughter. And Kinzo's like, yes, the new Beato. The Beato who was secretly here all along. And they're like, well, Kinzo, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, not even the new Beato. The same Beato. Not new, just continued.
The sequel.
Part 2.
Part 2. Yeah, they definitely let it happen, and I think, like, both his status as their employer and also as a friend made them a little, like, hesitant to speak out against what they knew was wrong. 'Cause they all very clearly knew what's wrong and, like, regretted not doing anything, but they're like, oh, he's our friend of many years, and he's also our employer, and we don't know, like, what to say.
And also, there's a lot of very odd things that they say about this whole thing in EP7, where they're telling the story about Beatrice and Kuwadori and Beatrice and, like, everything that happened on it. Even, like, there's just odd lines about, like, Genji being like, wow, he was really sad, and then, like, Kumasawa's like, well, yeah, his love for his daughter was really weird, but, like, that's the kind of all-encompassing love, and you're like, Kumasawa, shut the fuck up, like, what? You know?
They're trying to, like, justify it to themselves to, like, excuse, like, why they did what they did, I think. They're like, trying to, like, make it seem less bad than it was, to cover up their guilt. That's what I feel.
No, I totally agree. Like, I mean...
But, Your Honor, he's based.
Yeah, I think this is all veering into a lot of territories about future things about Genji, because I think, like, Genji is one of those characters that people don't really think about how weird his everything, and why is he, like, Renove, why is he the way he is, and how did he just, you know, complicit into gay. And how is he complicit in, like, basically doing all these, like, horrible things that, like, you know, basically leads to a bunch of, you know, just bad things happen. And I think that's very interesting to see him that way. But I think it's something we can explore more throughout EP6 and, you know, when we get
definitely.
to EP7.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else still have more thoughts about this area?
I have one last thought.
Oh my god, Des, your brains are so full of thoughts.
I fucking told you. That's why I was trying to tell you to stick to the things in the chapters.
We get a little carried away.
But this one should be short. It's just regarding, like, what does it mean that Angie is fathering Sumiko? Why can't Feadorin not read this story without Angie? Why does she need Angie to read it for her? Which since we're all in agreement that EP6 was most likely than not just written by Toya, and Ikuko does not know the answer to this game board, I like to imagine that this was a deal that Toya made with Ikuko, just being like, okay, you can read this story, but please, for the love of God, make Angie read this. Don't let her live without reading this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
So she can only read it if Angie reads it too.
I like that.
I like that.
Because if we're going by my interpretation of it, by this point, this is just a Toya with a very guilty consciousness of what he's been doing, writing her family members to be. So he just wants to clear that up.
Yeah, and this is the first story where, like,
nothing happens.
There is technically no culprit. It's like EP5 was close, but it wasn't quite that, you know?
See, the thing is, though, I think there is definitely a culprit in EP6.
No, there is, sorry. What I meant is...
Well, it's Erica, right?
They don't get a chance to do anything, almost anything, because, like, I mean, Erica. But, like, it's definitely a murder plot. The plot from the culprit's perspective in EP6 is still, I'm going to kill the whole Ushirimuya family. It's just, like, hidden underneath this, like, hey Battler, let's do a fun, like, fake murder mystery, kind of similar to 5, but more wholesome.
I don't think so. I mean, like, I respect that, but I think that Battler doesn't have the heart, and Toya doesn't have the heart to write about his family, especially if he's starting to get his memories back.
I don't think Battler would kill his family. And also, Sayo as a collective is shown to be very busy with the love trials during this episode, because the whole point of, like, why the murders happen is that Battler comes back home, and it's kind of like a snap, because like, oh, you're coming back after all this time, and I was supposed to marry George, and I also have these conflicting feelings with Jessica, and like all of like Sayo's love problems are coming to a head, and that's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And so because suddenly Canon has accepted his feelings in episode 6 and is willing to kind of like fight for a chance with Jessica, and Shannon has resolved herself to marrying George, and then Beato wants to hold hands with Battler, it's become less about, oh, I've snapped and I'm finally going to make a decision about my life. So like, honestly, like, this is Sayo best timeline that Battler has written, because like, she's actually like standing up and like trying to figure out who is the best bet for me, who am I going to be happiest with, and how am I going to be happiest living. And then, you know, like, she's part of the murder prank, but no one actually dies. Erica's the one who kills them. So I don't think Sayo, if there is a culprit at all who's committing murders, it's not Sayo, because Sayo has a different outlook this episode, shown by Canon actually smiling for once in his life.
I kind of want to talk about this eventually, about my thoughts about Erika as a character and Erika as a real historical person that exists in the Rokunjima, or exists in the Umineko universe. And why does she even get roped into doing this? Like, or why does this character get roped into being this? Because, you know, it's still, like, now it's just a random story about some weird girl who washed up on the island and kills a bunch of fucking people on the island. And, like, I have a whole
kind of
different... I have a whole different stream of thought about that, and how that is a very odd thing. And kind of, like, and the fact that Erika is a real person who actually did die is just very interesting, that she gets incorporated into these future murder fanfics, and that she also gets to be a character who gets to kill. So more thoughts on that eventually. Do we want to close out the episode, since I think we have recorded for a while?
Yes, I don't have any more thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I was like briefly gonna touch upon how like Battler is Ryukishi's real author Sona, in the sense that like Toya is the one who like really cares about like the heart and true meaning behind the story, whereas Ikugo is pretentious and just like, look at my mysteries, you'll never solve them, you'll never get my story. But like that's not like something needed to go too deep on. It's just something that I was thinking about when we were talking about like the Featherine being author stand-in, and Ryukishi Sona and all of Battler's troubles actually like writing the story on his own this time.
Yeah.
But
the only thing I was going to say is I do think that there were murders, but I don't remember enough to be able to back it up with evidence, so I guess we'll find out as we continue to read.
I'm pretty sure all the murders were Erika chopping people's heads off to confirm their deaths.
Yes.
I mean, I think she only does one Twilight, but there may have only been one Twilight. I can't remember now.
Yeah, there was only one Twilight.
I will say, I'm ready to close this out, but one more thought about Erika and Angie is that I don't actually remember, and this could be totally off base and proven wrong immediately, but now I'm suddenly on the lookout. I just had this idea. What if, like, Erika isn't in the version of the story that Angie is reading, because it's not Toya's story?
So what do you think is actually written there? Just someone other than Erika who's experiencing this fake murder mystery?
I don't know.
And the murder mystery actually goes on till the end in real life?
I think that that's part of why I'm ready to end it, is that I have so many thoughts, and I really am so excited, because we're going to learn more, and then my thoughts would be more refreshed.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Honestly, this whole rabbit hole that Ikuko unearthed just by appearing in the story is exactly what I expected upon us reaching Ikuko and all that she like has attached to her whole existence.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about Ikugo and then not talk about like every single little small aspect of Umineko ever.
Yes, exactly.
We jumped to episode fucking 8.
Yeah, okay. So I think everybody say your goodbyes, and we will wrap up this episode and look forward to us talking way more in depth about... We might have to re-record a Umineko timeline now.
Yeah, I'd be down, because I want to like write out a timeline after this, because what Des said is like open to my third eye to like the Umineko timeline and how to streamline it, and I'm like, holy shit.
Worth, that's so...
Suddenly so much more makes sense.
Thank you for telling me that.
I'll have to go back. I'm also gonna personally go back to go listen to the episode that Des and I recorded about it, so then we can all we should all come back with timestamps, so we can be like, I want to refute you this point. This is gonna be great.
Ah, that would
It'll
be
be
interesting.
amazing.
But yeah, real quick, Worf, I just wanna say, please don't come out of this thinking I just came up with all of this just like that. I'm not some kind of genius, because actually, this fucking interpretation was the product of 2 hours of laying on my floor, just trying to understand what the fuck was up with these chapters. It was really fucking confusing.
I mean,
It's such a mood.
it was very confusing. Yeah, I've been confused for the entirety of time that I have known
Yeah.
Umineko about what the fuck went on with Angie at the end of Umineko and during her whole journey. And you just said something that made so much sense.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Alright.
I'm glad. I
Okay,
had you.
everybody say goodbye.
Yes, mother. Sorry.
Kaki did.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Check out part 2 on Pornhub.
Yeah, check us out.
Hello. Pulse recording death here. This episode ended kinda abruptly, so I just wanted to inform you. After the episode ended, we stayed on the voice calling week. We discussed many interesting topics that I just want to leave documented so you can remind us to go further in depth during an actual episode in case we forget. Like the possibility that the way Angie miraculously managed to be accepted by Ikuko for an interview, not an interview, but you understand what I'm telling you. You know how Angie mentions this meeting as a miracle, that she was really fortunate that she even got to meet Ikuko. And then we were talking about, the very popular idea that Higurashi was written by Ikuko, and Okonogi and Amakusa are characters in Higurashi, which probably means that Umineko Ikuko personally knows Okonogi and Amakusa, which also makes sense considering the fact that Okonogi is employed by Eva, and Eva did meet up with Ikuko. And probably that's how it happened. Angie, probably in exchange for giving Okonogi her part of the Shiromi group, in exchange for that, got him to support her in this journey of hers. And that support may have manifested into this meeting with Ikuko. I'm not gonna go further in depth, because I'm pretty sure the other guys also want to share their thoughts upon this, but just wanted to leave you with this tidbit of information that's just one of the many things that we kept talking about, and I think they would make for great episodes, so please look forward to that. We also discussed how this episode went, because there was just so much stuff to discuss here, right? We talked about all of us had lengthy monologues as we were trying to express these ideas, and our thoughts were running faster than our words, and at a point we were just monologuing in a trance, and then we get kind of heated up because, after so many years of trying to understand Umineko, you get kind of heated when you feel that, oh my god, maybe I don't understand Umineko as well as I thought I did. It was a fun experience to record this episode. I hope you had as much fun listening to it as we did. Well, see you next episode whenever we get to record that.